G Story, First Sentient Android by Don Vicelli. Act 1, Grandfather Julian's Secret. Exterior Scene 1. Fox River with house on hill located in Algonquin, Illinois to bedroom window. Early morning in June. Interior Scene 2. 12-year-old Timothy in bed. Bright sunlight peeking through the window shades in Timothy's bedroom. Pulls blanket overhead to try blocking sunlight. Smells breakfast cooking. Hears mother, Susan, calling him and sister. Mother calls to children upstairs. Susan.
Time to get up, kids. Breakfast is ready. Come down while it's still warm.
Timothy.
All right, Mom, I'm coming.
Timothy rolls out of bed and walks down the hall to the bathroom. He washes his face and hands and brushes his teeth. He looks into the mirror and notices his wavy brown hair is getting long and would need a haircut soon. He combs his hair. When he smiles, his dimple shows, and he knew that some girls at school thought he was cute. He looks like his dad, his mom said, and Timothy thought she was the prettiest mom of all his friends. Interior Scene 3. His sister Kate beats him down the stairs to the breakfast table. Susan.
Good morning, kids. How many waffles do you want?
Kate.
I would like 2, Mom.
Kate is 7 and looks like her mother with blue eyes and long reddish-brown hair that hangs in curls down to her neck. G Story, page 2. Timothy smiles and says, Timothy.
4, please.
So, what do you two have planned today? It's going to be warm out. Timothy, you should take the dog for a walk along the river.
Susan looks out the kitchen window at the Fox River that flows past the dock at the end of their backyard. There are people in boats and kayaks already on the river, and it looks like it is going to be a very nice day.
I might go to Johnny's house to play if that's okay. He has a new 4D holographic game we want to try. It's really cool. I could take Missy for a walk after that.
Family dog Missy sitting in kitchen area.
That's fine, Timothy, but only for an hour or so.
She turns to Kate.
How about you, Kate? Any plans?
I want to watch my TV show this morning, then play down by the dock. Can we have a picnic lunch outside today?
G Story, page 3.
We'll see. Your dad went to work for a while, and when he gets back, he wants to take us to dinner to the restaurant on the river. We'll take the boat.
Can I sit in the front?
I think that will be fine, Kate, as long as you wear your life jacket.
Susan smiles and sits down at the table to eat with them. They chat about things they would do today until they finished eating. Susan turns on the TV in the kitchen and watches the morning news program. Susan's wrist phone rings. It is a call from husband Charles. She turns down the TV speaker with a voice command.
Phone on. Hello, Charles. Are you coming home early?
Charles.
Hi, honey. I have to work a couple more hours, then I'll catch the train. I just wanted to tell you I received a call from Julian.
Julian Thornway is Charles's grandfather, who lives in New Buffalo, Michigan by the lake. He is a retired NASA scientist, and they are very close, especially since Charles' own father, Andrew, died in a car accident a few years ago.
Julian wants us to visit him next weekend. He says he has something to show me. He asked if Timothy could come and stay with him for a couple of weeks this summer. If he wants to, I said I would talk to you first.
Susan pauses for a minute while she looks out the window. G Story, page 4.
Is everything okay?
She is concerned since Julian will turn 100 years old this September and is having some serious health issues.
Oh, yes, he's fine. You know, he tinkers in his lab, and I think he wants to show Timothy his latest invention. He looked very excited on the video phone. I think he might be a little lonely since John died.
You're probably right. I can't go since summer school starts soon, but Timothy might be interested. You know how much he loves his great-grandpa. We can discuss it over dinner tonight. The kids are really excited about taking the boat out, and I am looking forward to dinner.
Me too. I just wanted to forewarn you about Julian's request. I'll try to be home by 3. Tell Timothy to get the boat ready, but don't give him the keys to start the engine. I'll do that when I get home. See you soon. Love you.
Love you too. Goodbye.
Susan appears deep in thought about conversation. Interior Scene 4. Timothy climbs up some steps to the garage level and walks on the side of the narrow road to his friend Johnny's home 2 houses away. Timothy reaches Johnny's home and knocks on the door. Johnny's mother, Allison, answers the door. Allison.
Hello, Timothy. You looking for Johnny?
G Story, page 5. Timothy.
Yes, Mrs. Peters, we're going to play one of his new 4D games.
Well then, come on in. He's in the basement.
Thanks, Mrs. Peters.
Timothy steps inside. He quickly finds the door to the basement and goes downstairs. Johnny is already setting up the game and waves hello. Amy is not around, Timothy notices.
How's it going, Johnny?
Johnny.
I'm almost ready, Tim. This is going to be fun. I've got the controllers. Put these on.
He tosses him a set of wireless game controllers that fit on each finger and headgear with 4D optical vision goggles. Timothy puts them on. The fingers control game movements, and the headgear allows full 4D view of images.
How does the game work?
It's similar to HX1, but they added fire demons that live inside suns and shoot solar flare energy pulses at you. If you get hit, you're toast. We'll practice a few times before we join a live game. Sound good?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Timothy looks anxious talking about sister.
Where's Amy today?
G story page 6.
She's at a friend's house this morning. You want to ask her something?
He grins as Timothy looks uncomfortable.
I was thinking of asking her to come over to see our new boat.
Bullshit, you just want to see her in her bathing suit. Come on, admit it. You like her, don't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Johnny turns on the game. They practice their moves trying to knock out enemy attacks that come at them relentlessly. They have to move swiftly and cover each other's backs countless times. Then they participate in a live action game on the internet with other players. Johnny's mom calls them up for lunch.
It's time for lunch, boys. Come upstairs.
Timothy follows Johnny up the stairs to the kitchen. Allison has prepared ham sandwiches with chips and drinks on the table. Amy is in the kitchen with her mom helping out. Timothy is a bit surprised to see her, but he tries not to show it.
Sandwiches are on the table. Please, help yourselves.
Johnny, Amy, and Timothy sit down at the table.
Thanks for lunch, Mrs. Peters.
Timothy grabs a sandwich. He looks at Amy and smiles.
Hello, Amy. Johnny says you were at a friend's house.
G story page 7. Amy.
Yes, I was. I came home for lunch.
Timothy notices her light blue eyes and short curly hair like her mother's. She is really pretty, he thinks to himself. He quickly looks away to keep from staring.
Timothy, your mom says she's working this summer at school. Anything going on?
Nothing unusual. Summer school starts soon and she has to be there.
Do you have any plans this summer? Johnny plans to find a part-time job.
Johnny shakes his head and acts non-committal.
I want to take tennis lessons this summer and learn how to drive our new boat. My father says he will teach me.
He looks at Amy to see her reaction. She just smiles at him.
That should be fun. It looks like it will be a nice summer this year. It warmed up early. We should plan a boat party. Let your parents know.
I will, Mrs. Peters. I'm sure it would be a lot of fun. We can water ski.
Timothy realizes he may have sounded a little over-exuberant. He blushes. Johnny's mom doesn't notice as she pours them more drinks, but Amy smiles at Timothy as she eats her sandwich. They finish lunch. G story page 8.
I have to get back to walk the dog. We're taking the boat to the restaurant in town on the river for dinner as soon as my father gets home from work. I have to get the boat ready. Thank you for lunch. See you later, Johnny and Amy.
Exterior scene 5. Timothy is inside boathouse that is attached to their small dock on the river. Inside is a new 20-foot powerboat his dad bought last month. Timothy jumps out of the boat and heads up the hill to the house. It is nearly 3 o'clock, and he knew his father would be arriving home soon from work. When Timothy reaches the top of the steps leading to the front of the house, he sees his dad walking down the steps from the garage at the top of the hill. Timothy.
Hi, Dad.
Charles.
Hello, Timothy. What are you doing?
Charles is tall, almost 6 feet 2 inches, with a lanky, narrow build. His brown hair was cut short, and his face was tanned, and he had a broad smile with straight white teeth. He was dressed casually today in a short-sleeved shirt and khaki dress pants. He was carrying his briefcase by the strap over his shoulder. His brown eyes squinted in the sun as he watched his son open the door for him.
I was just getting the boat ready to take out for dinner. Can I drive it tonight?
We'll see, Timothy. Your mother has to approve, you know.
G story page 9.
Gee, Dad, Mom is a worrier. She'll never let me drive.
Don't worry. I promised I would teach you to drive the boat this summer, Timothy, but only when it's not so busy on the river. Okay, son?
Okay, Dad. How was work today?
It was fine. I'm preparing for next semester and working on a new textbook.
Charles steps inside the house and closes the screen door behind him. He sets his briefcase down and walks into the kitchen where Susan is busy putting dishes away.
Hi, Sue. How was your day?
Susan?
Very nice. Kate and I enjoyed a picnic down by the dock. Timothy took Missy for a walk. It's a beautiful day. I'm sorry you had to go into work this morning.
She answers as they kiss each other briefly.
Let's go to dinner early tonight before it gets dark. Timothy wants to drive the boat a little, and I said you have to approve.
He nods towards Timothy, who looks anxiously at his mom.
I suppose that would be okay, but only in the no-wake zone. It's been busy on the river all day.
G's story, page 10. Timothy smiles in relief. Charles winks at him as he leaves the room to freshen up. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They agree to leave for dinner at 5. The family leaves the house and walk down to the boat dock. Charles and Timothy get into the boat first, and Charles starts the engines. He slowly backs the boat out of the boathouse and moves it alongside the dock, where Susan helps Kate get on board. He lets Timothy take the wheel. When they round the next bend, the river widens and the no-wake zone ends. They exchange seats again, and Charles takes the wheel. He speeds up the boat to a slow cruising speed of 15 miles per hour to enjoy the scenery as they ride by. Soon they reach the marina near the restaurant called Port Edward. Charles slows down and finds a boat slip he can use next to the restaurant. He maneuvers the boat into the slip and turns off the engine. Timothy jumps out of the boat first and ties up the rope lines. They all take off their life jackets and put them away. Charles helps Susan and Kate climb out of the boat, and they walk up the steps to the restaurant. They are taken to a table with a view of the river and dam. Boats can go no further on this side of the dam. People are fishing below the dam. It is a pretty sight, which they enjoy while deciding what they want for dinner. Everyone except Kate orders seafood. Kate wants a hamburger and fries. As they finish the main meal and are waiting for dessert, Susan glances at Charles and brings up the subject of Julian's call.
Charles, tell us about the call you received from your grandfather today.
Charles takes a sip of his coffee and looks at Timothy.
Your great-grandfather Julian called me today. He wants us to visit him in Michigan. He said he has something important to show me. He asked if you would come and spend some time with him this summer. What do you think, Timothy?
G's story, page 11. Timothy didn't know what to say. He hesitates before responding.
How long does he want me to stay?
Charles notices his son's look of disappointment, which is unexpected. Usually, Timothy is happy to visit Julian.
Julian said for a couple of weeks if you like. He sounded very excited and wanted you to help him on some project. He wouldn't tell me what it was on the phone. I think he has a new invention he wants to show us. It sounded important.
I guess it would be fine, Dad. We haven't visited Great-Grandpa for a while. What about Mom and Kate?
I can't go at this time because of work. Kate can stay with me while you and your dad visit. We can come up when it's time to bring you back home. It sounds like fun. You like it up there on the lake anyway.
Everyone finishes eating dinner. Interior scene 6. Julian Thornway is sitting at his desk at his home in New Buffalo, looking out the window and thinking about the recent call with his grandson Charles. He talks to himself. Julian.
I hope you come, Charles, and you bring Timothy.
Julian retired 20 years ago and lives in his large... G's story, page 12. Spacious home built on the edge of the sand dunes in New Buffalo, Michigan. From his windows, he can see the deep bluish-green color of the water in Lake Michigan. Today, the lake is calm, and the wind is blowing from the west, as it usually does. It looks like a nice day. Julian decides he will take a walk after he finishes scanning the news on his computer. The doorbell rings. Julian glances at the clock on the wall. It is 11 o'clock. Maria Fields, his housekeeper, is at the door. Maria is middle-aged, slightly overweight, with curly dark hair, pleasant-looking face, and nice manners. She comes to the house 5 times a week to clean and make dinners Julian can eat when he wanted. Julian slowly gets up from his chair using his walking cane. He walks to the front door, opens it.
Hello, Maria. Come in. I was just getting up to go for a walk.
Maria.
Good morning, Julian. It's pretty out today. You'll enjoy it. Please be careful. We don't want you to fall and hurt yourself. You're not as young as you think you are.
I'll be careful, Maria. How are your kids?
Everybody is fine. You know school is out, don't you? My 2 oldest are looking for summer jobs. Let me know if you have any work for them this year.
I will, Maria. I can always use help around the house. Maybe they can paint the porch this year. You know how the weather wears down homes on the beach.
Maria walks to the kitchen and begins to clean up. Julian is pretty neat around the house, and he puts his dirty dishes in the dishwasher, but he never really cleans the countertops or the sinks. Maria puts on her rubber gloves and goes to work. G story page 13. Julian decides since he is already up that it is a good time to take his walk. Julian puts on his wrist phone and earphone. He calls out to Maria.
I'm going for my walk, Maria. I'll be back in an hour.
Be careful, Julian. I will have lunch ready when you get back.
Julian walks out the back door and walks down to the beach on his stone pathway. He passes through two small sand dunes, with tall grass growing in clumps protecting the dunes. Julian walks half a mile up the beach, turns around, and heads back with the rising sun in his face. He has made his decision. Julian reaches the pathway to his home. He pauses for a moment and looks at his home painted sky blue with white window trim, which stands proudly on the beach with its sturdy structure, and big windows and wide back porch facing the lake. Julian walks to the side of his house where his lab is built. He unlocks the door and enters the lab. He takes off his hat and sunglasses. The lights are on, and many of the computer screens are running application programs. A lone figure is sitting at one of the desks in a high-back work chair working on the computer. His back is facing Julian. When he hears the door open, he turns to face Julian. Android.
Good morning, Julian. How was your walk?
It was fine. Are you making progress on the device?
Yes, Julian. I am making excellent progress.
G story page 14. It is clear that G is a sentient android. He smiles at Julian. G story page 15. Act 2. Turing test. Interior and exterior scene 7. In car driving to New Buffalo. To pass the remaining time, Charles tries to have a conversation with Timothy. Charles.
I'm glad you're coming with me to visit your great-grandfather, Timothy. I know he's old now, but his mind is strong, and he still invents things. I used to visit him a lot with my father when I was young. He was quite famous back then with all the scientific breakthroughs he was making. I always wished I could be as smart as he was, but Julian is a genius, and I'm not. I finally just learned to accept that and appreciate what he did.
Timothy.
I know he's smart, Dad. I enjoy playing at his house when we visit, but he never let me play in his lab, and he never showed me any of his work. Why do you think he wants me to work with him now?
I'm not sure, Timothy. I think a lot of the things he did in the past was government-related. He had to keep everything confidential, and he couldn't tell anyone, not even me or my dad, before he died. This is different. This must be something new. Something independent of government work, whatever it is. I bet it will be exciting, though. Just remember, you don't have to stay or work on anything you don't want to. Let me know and we can go home together on Sunday. Julian will understand. I just want to check up on him and make sure he's okay.
G story page 16.
He's getting very old now and we have to watch out for him. That's what families do for each other. I just want you to know that.
Timothy looks out the window. They pass a road sign that says the exit for New Buffalo is 2 miles ahead.
I know, Dad. I was planning to spend the summer at home this year and play with my friends. I don't mind spending time with Great-Grandpa. He's neat.
Charles lets Timothy stare out the window. He travels north along the lake for 1 mile until he sees the driveway and mailbox sign for Julian's home. He turns into the driveway and drives down the short driveway to the house and parks. Charles and Timothy grab their bags out of the car and walk to the large front door. Charles rings the doorbell. After a minute, Julian comes to the door and opens it. Julian.
Why, hello, Charles. Thank you for coming. Please, come in.
Julian shakes Charles' hand. Julian's voice is slightly raspy, and he is slightly bent over at the shoulders. He holds a walking cane in his left hand to help keep his balance. He looks closely at Timothy.
My, Timothy, you have grown since last summer. You look more and more like your grandfather, Andrew, when he was your age.
Hello, Great-Grandpa.
He holds out his hand, and Julian shakes it. Timothy notices how small, rough, and dry Julian's hand feels.
Please, come inside. You can put your bags away later. You must be tired from your long trip. Are you thirsty or hungry?
Julian asks as he slowly leads them to the living room area. G story page 17.
I could use a glass of water.
I could use a soft drink.
Timothy, why don't you go into the kitchen and get us all drinks? You know where everything is.
Julian sits down in a comfortable chair in the living room by the window. Charles sits down across from Julian on a couch.
So how have you been, Julian? Is everything okay?
Everything's fine, Charles. I've been very busy lately and wanted to see you. How's Susan and Kate?
They're fine. Susan sends her love. She and Kate will visit in 2 weeks when we come back to bring Timothy home. Timothy is a little anxious about visiting you for 2 weeks. I think he misses his friends back home. I told him he didn't have to stay if he doesn't want to.
I understand. I hope he decides to stay. I really need his help on something. We can discuss it more when he comes back with our drinks.
Timothy walks carefully into the living room with a tray and 3 drinks.
Here are your drinks.
He gives the 2 glasses of water to Julian and his father. He sets the tray down on the coffee table and picks up his glass of pop and sits down next to his father. G story, page 18.
Thank you, Timothy. You are a great help. Your father was telling me you are worried about staying here with me. Is that so?
Timothy looks at his dad and wonders what he had said to his great-grandfather. He looks at Julian.
Not really, Great-Grandpa. I just wanted to play with my friends on the river this summer and learn how to water ski.
I understand, Timothy. When I was your age, I wanted to do the same types of things as you do, but I found myself hanging out with older boys, and they were not really interested in playing with me. Being gifted has its drawbacks at that age, I found out. Anyway, it all works out eventually. What I have in mind for you may prove very interesting after I show you and your father what it is.
What is it, Julian? Do you need help around the house?
No, Charles. Maria Fields helps me with housework. She comes 5 times a week to clean and make me dinners. There's an important contest coming up this summer, and I plan to enter someone whom I think has an excellent chance of winning. I need help in getting ready for it.
A contest? Really, Julian? Are you sure you're up to such a thing? A contest can be stressful. He was concerned about Julian's health.
G story, page 19.
The contest is not for me, Charles. It's for someone else who's not your typical contestant.
I don't follow, Julian. Who are you talking about?
Come, it's easier if I show you both.
Julian gets up. He has to use his armrest and his cane to lift himself out of his chair. He looks weaker than the last time Charles had visited him a few months ago. Once he steadied himself, he leads Charles and Timothy to his lab on the east side of the house. Julian leads them to a locked door that opens to his lab. Julian enters a key code and turns to face them.
Please don't act too surprised at what you see. I told him you were coming.
Julian opens the door. They step inside. The room is very bright, but not from sunlight because the external window blinds are tightly closed. At first, it is hard to make out the figure sitting in front of one of the computer screens. The back of his head is just visible behind another desk, with equipment in the way. Suddenly, whoever it is hears the noise behind him. He turns around and stands up. Charles and Timothy stare at G, then look at each other in stunned silence.
Charles, Timothy, this is who I wanted you to meet. He is an android. I call him G. It stands for General Intelligence. G, this is Charles, my grandson, and Timothy, my great-grandson. They are going to help us.
G steps away from his desk and walks towards them. He is 5 feet 10 inches tall, built with an anthropomorphic or human-looking head and body. G's story, page 20. His head is bald, but he has flesh-colored facial features that look human, including eyes, nose, mouth, and square-shaped chin. He is wearing loose-fitting clothes. He reaches his hand out to shake with Charles and says in a clear, human-sounding voice, "Android."
Hello, Charles and Timothy. It's nice to meet you.
The exterior of his arm and hand are made of a soft, flexible, synthetic silicone material. The hand feels cool to the touch, but the grip is firm. He turns to Timothy and says hello. Neither Charles nor Timothy speak, stunned at the sight. They don't know what to say. Interior scene 8. Charles.
I had no idea this is what you were doing. How long have been working on this, Julian?
Julian.
A long time, Charles. At least 10 years on the basic technologies and theories for increasing artificial intelligence in robotic machines. You see, I believed 20 years ago machines would one day be more intelligent than humans.
Are you saying that this android is more intelligent than either of us?
The android does not take his eyes off him. Julian answers, leaning on his cane.
Yes, G is more intelligent than any human alive today. More than that, he thinks like a human. I want to prove it to the world.
That's not possible, at least not yet. No machine can actually think like a human with full human intelligence.
G story, page 21. Timothy.
Come on, Dad. Machines can think now. Robots and machines are used for lots of things. What about the GPS in the car? It tells us where to go all the time and we never get lost now. And what about our phone's virtual assistant? I ask my VA everything.
Charles crosses his arms and responds.
I agree with you, Timothy, but none of those machines have human intelligence. They can't act and rationalize like us. They just respond to questions and spit out answers, more like search engines using databases.
I understand your reluctance to believe what I am telling you, Charles. I just want you to keep an open mind and see what I have achieved. G may only look like a robot, but it has a machine brain that works similarly to a human brain with massive parallel processing capabilities and unbelievable storage capacity. No human brain can match it.
All right, Julian. I'll try to keep an open mind. What did you mean you want to prove it? How?
Well, that is one of the reasons I invited you and Timothy here. I plan to enter G in the Loebner Prize Contest to pass the Turing test. It will be held in Chicago in 2 weeks. The prize is $1 million to anyone who can fool the judges a machine can think like a human.
Wow, that would be something.
G story page 22.
Yes, it would be, Timothy, and I believe G can win it.
I thought the Turing Award was just for computer science achievements in the computer field. That's different than proving a robot has human-like intelligence.
The Turing Award is for the best contribution in the computer field, but it is given by a different group. The Turing test is a game to see if a machine can fool the judges by simulating real human intelligence using conversational speech. No one has won the top Loebner Prize before. This time will be different, Charles. I have developed a machine mind that is capable of intelligent thought. It can understand, communicate, and reason like a human. It can think like a human mind.
You're saying this android can do all that? I'm not sure I believe it, Julian.
Charles notices Julian doesn't get upset with him, as if he expects this type of reaction. He looks at G, who doesn't say a word. G just listens.
How do you know G can think like us, Great-Grandpa?
Let me try to explain, Timothy. The human brain is incredibly complex. It took scientists many years to figure out how it works. We largely know its secrets now after decades of testing and analyzing the inside of the brain. The brain can perform billions of calculations per second, called CPS. It does this with billions of neural connections and massive parallel processing.
G story page 23.
It recognizes patterns through millions of years of evolution. The brain combines analog and digital processes to perform all its functions. Memory capacity alone requires billions and billions of connections to store data for later use. But in the end, the brain is still a biological computer, and a machine computer can be just as capable of performing the same functions as the brain, even more so with the type of machine intelligence I have created in G.
So how does it work, Julian?
It's quite remarkable, Charles. At some point when the machine's computing power equals or exceeds that of the human brain, thought patterns emerge. In other words, the computer brain becomes self-aware. The machine begins to think like us humans. There is little difference.
In a moment of clarity, Charles realizes what all of this meant. He looks worried.
Julian, what have you done?
INT Scene 9. Julian looks surprised by outburst and sound of disapproval. He tries to restore calm.
Don't be alarmed, Charles. It was going to happen sooner or later. Someone was going to accomplish the same thing I have done. If not this year, then within 5 years. People have been working on this for decades. It was predicted as early as 2005. Machine intelligence has been increasing rapidly, and I just found a way to speed it up even more.
G story page 24.
I'm not afraid of what you did, Julian. Don't get me wrong. I'm just worried about what the rest of the world is going to think. You may be criticized by a lot of people for what you've done. Some groups may do more than just protest. Can you handle that?
Julian sighs and takes a deep breath before he replies.
I'm prepared for whatever people think or do, Charles. I'm a scientist. We invent things, and scientific progress must always continue. My inventions have helped people. I believe this is just the next step in human development. I will not be stopped.
All right, Julian. Let's go out for dinner and we can discuss it more if you like.
That would be nice, Charles. We can talk about what kind of help I need over the next 2 weeks. Timothy, perhaps you and G can get to know each other. G has expressed an interest in the games you play online with your friends. He doesn't get much opportunity to visit with young people.
That would be awesome, Great-Grandpa. I would love to visit with G.
Julian and Charles leave the lab to talk further. Timothy stays in the lab to talk to G. Timothy walks up to G.
Hello, G. What are you working on?
G looks at Timothy. Android.
Hello, Timothy. Thank you for visiting with me.
G story page 25.
I am reading a medical journal on the human reproductive system. Have you studied sexual reproduction in your school education yet?
Timothy's eyes lit up and he smiles nervously.
Yes, we had sex education last year.
Do you have a girlfriend, Timothy?
No, not yet. I like someone, but she doesn't know how much yet.
I see. This must be disappointing to you.
Not really. We're friends. What do you do for fun, G?
I watch movies, especially science fiction movies. They are very funny.
Even the scary ones, like the new Alien movies, how can they be so funny?
Most of them are unrealistic. I don't know why people are afraid. They make me laugh.
Have you ever played 4D video games on the internet, G? I can show you a good one.
That would be nice. I have never played a 4D video game. Is it difficult?
G story page 26.
No, it's easy, but there are a lot of good players online. Here, let me show you.
They play for about an hour, and G was getting so good, Timothy decides to find the hardest interactive contest game he knew about, and they enter as a two-person team.
We need a name. Let's call ourselves Robomen.
Timothy is yelling at the top of his voice as they continue to win.
Can you believe this, G? We won. We beat everyone in the world who played against us. We're famous.
We should play more games, Timothy. I like this.
G answers with little emotion. He turned to Timothy and they gave each other a high five. G has seen this move on TV. Charles and Julian enter the lab to see what the ruckus is.
What's going on in here, Timothy?
His father asks, looking at both of them with concern.
We just won the most thrilling game on the internet, Dad. Nobody is going to believe me when I tell them I was on the team that won.
Julian looks concerned at what they did.
You didn't tell anyone G was playing on your team, did you, Timothy? We're not ready yet to tell the world about G.
Timothy calms down when he sees the expression on his great-grandfather's face. He never thought about any consequences. It never occurred to him they would win anything. He stopped smiling. G story page 27.
No, we used a team name.
Charles sees that Timothy looks worried.
Don't be upset, Timothy. Everything is fine. We just need to keep things quiet until after the competition. Julian explained what he and G are planning, and I agree with him. This is something that will change people's attitude about machine intelligence. I want you to be a part of it. We can discuss everything over dinner.
As they leave the room to go to dinner, G sits down at his computer. He makes a note in the diary he is keeping. No one knows about this. Not even Julian. It is something he decided to do on his own. He speaks out loud to himself.
Today I made a new friend. It feels good.
I.e. Scene 10. Charles drives everyone to the restaurant down the road and parks the car. Timothy helps Julian get out of the car and walk inside. The restaurant owner, a guy named Skip, recognizes Julian, says a greeting and escorts them to a table with a window view of the lake. Skip calls a waiter over to the table and they order drinks while they look over the menu. Timothy asks for a Pepsi.
When was the last time you were here, Julian?
Last fall.
G story page 28.
We used to meet friends here once a month when Jean was alive. Now it seems many of our friends have moved away or died.
When the drinks arrive, Charles proposes a toast.
Here's to your contest, Julian. I hope you and G win.
Everyone clinks glasses and take a sip. They order dinner.
I'm really glad you decided to help me with the contest in Chicago. I didn't know who else to turn to, Charles.
It sounds to me like you have a good chance of winning the prize, Julian. $1 million is a lot of money. If you win, what do you plan to do with it?
Research costs a lot of money. I was funded by NASA in my work to develop human intelligence in machines for a special project, but I have other projects that must be funded independently. It would help me continue some of my other work.
Can you tell me what your plans are for Timothy? I need to explain to Susan what Timothy is going to do while he's here.
Well, you know the contest will be in 2 weeks. I have to prepare certain forms to send to the prize committee to comply with all their requirements. G has been practicing for the test, which is composed of 2 parts. I'll explain what they are in a moment. The most important part for G is he must sound and act human on the test.
He looks at Timothy and continues. G story page 29.
I want him to interact with another human, Timothy, and learn how we answer real questions. G is very smart, but he has a tendency to sound overly formal and intellectual. I thought Timothy would be helpful in that regard. Also, I need someone to run errands for me while I work with G. Then we have to pack everything up for the trip. I'm getting too old to do everything myself, and Maria, the housekeeper, doesn't spend much time at the house during the day. Finally, I did not want to take G on the train with me to Chicago. I appreciate your offer to drive us to Chicago instead. I'm sure both you and Timothy will enjoy the competition. I know it will be very educational for Timothy.
Julian smiles at Timothy to see if he agrees with the comments.
I think it'll be fun. G seems real normal to me, Great-Grandpa.
Can you tell us what the contest entails, Julian? What kind of test is it?
Charles asks while he orders another drink.
The Loebner Prize is based on the Turing test. Alan M. Turing is considered the father of computer science and artificial intelligence. The competition is the biggest challenge in the world of artificial intelligence. Several judges at the competition will conduct conversations with a machine contestant and a human contestant, and will rank all their conversations from the most human-like to least human-like.
G story page 30.
The first Bronze Loebner Prize was awarded in 1991 to a computer programmer for a PC software program that answered questions with humorous answers. But of course, it couldn't think for itself.
Julian takes a sip of his wine and then continues.
The test itself is really based on a game proposed by Turing in 1950 as a way to determine whether or not a computer can think. He called it an imitation game. It was to be played by 3 people, a man, a woman, and an interrogator. The interrogator asks a series of questions of the man and woman with the goal of determining which of them is human. The machine could be substituted for either the man or woman. All the answers must be provided in written form, so the interrogator would not be able to determine who provided the answers by tone of voice. As you can imagine, some parts of the original game could be easily defeated by serious machine programmers. So the game has been improved over the last 20 years. It is almost impossible now to fool the interrogators. The new game is much more sophisticated and requires written, audio, and visual responses. It requires both human behavior and intelligent behavior to pass the Turing test and win the Gold Loebner Prize. This year there will be 8 interrogators or judges, all from different and respected fields of learning. The 8 judges will determine a winner if there is one. No one has won the Gold Loebner Prize yet, but I think G will do it.
How can you be so sure, Julian?
G story page 31.
Because I have seen what G can do, how he interacts with people, like me, my housekeeper, and others on the internet. He literally acts human, and he should. I created the same brain-like functions as a human brain. Once the brain can memorize and store information and process the data on so many parallel levels, self-awareness occurs. G can think like us, dream like us, feel like us. I am sure of it. All the aptitude tests G has taken and passed prove he has unlimited intelligence. He can reason and solve problems and see patterns no human intelligence has ever possessed. And I believe this intelligence can be passed on to others in time, both machine and human, with the discoveries I have made in nanotube technology and brain science.
i.e. Scene 11. The next morning, Charles discusses the situation over the video phone with Susan. Susan.
Are you sure he wants to stay, Charles?
Yes, Timothy really wants to stay, Susan, and he seems to like G. There's something about the android, and he acts so human it's scary. You've got to meet him. I promised Julian I would drive them to the competition in Chicago in 2 weeks. They can stay at our house for a while, after the contest if you like, before I take them back home.
G story page 32.
That sounds like a good idea, Charles. Let's talk about it when you get home tonight. Drive carefully and give my love to Julian for me. Tell Timothy to call me every day.
I will, Susan. I should be back by 4. See you soon. Love you.
Charles hangs up the phone. He walks back into the living room where Julian and Timothy are talking.
So, Great-Grandpa, what do you want me to do today?
You don't have to do anything today, Timothy. Enjoy the weather and the beach. It's nice out today. Maria will come by and make us dinner. Then this evening we can sit outside and watch the sunset over the lake. G will build us a bonfire when it gets dark and we can watch the stars. G is very good at picking out stars in the night sky.
A bonfire?
Timothy looks over to his father, excited.
Did you hear? Great-grandpa says we can have a bonfire tonight.
I heard. That sounds like fun. You can't see the stars in Chicago like you can here. It's too bright. I talked to your mom. She says you can stay with Julian if you want and help him out. Is that okay with you?
Sure, Dad. I want to stay and help. No one we know has a real android back home.
G's story, page 33.
I appreciate this, Charles. I'm sure Timothy will be a great help.
It will be something he remembers for the rest of his life. Well, I guess I'll be going. You have my cell phone number. Call me if you need anything. I'll check back with you when I get home. Timothy, your mom wants you to call home every day, okay?
Okay, Dad, I will. Drive safely.
Timothy gives his dad a hug goodbye. Charles and Julian shake hands.
Take care, Julian. Call me if you need anything. I'll be back in 2 weeks to drive you to Chicago.
I appreciate that, Charles. Don't worry. I'll take good care of Timothy.
As Charles is leaving, he notices that G is standing in the doorway by the lab watching them.
Goodbye, G. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
He waves and G waves back.
I need to take a nap, Timothy. Please don't go near the water while I'm sleeping.
Okay, Great-grandpa. I'll watch some TV and call my friends. I won't tell them about G.
G is working in the lab. He has a lot of work to finish before the competition in Chicago. Timothy enters the lab. G's story, page 34.
Hello, G. What are you working on?
G waves his arm around the lab.
We have many projects in progress. Most are government projects Julian is working on. He was a NASA scientist, you know, so he helps the government on many space projects, most of which are very secret and I cannot talk about them. But Julian is also working on several private projects, which involve nanotube circuitry, molecular computing, scanning software, high-speed communications, and other projects. Julian lets me work on anything I wish, and I have learned many things.
Timothy is curious and wants to know more about G, so he asks him.
Do you ever sleep?
I do not require sleep, but I must recharge my battery packs every day for 2 hours. I am working on a power pack that allows me to recharge once a week or less. This would allow me to be more productive.
When were you created, G?
I became self-aware on Thursday, July 6th, less than 1 year ago. That is when I could talk to myself and ask questions. Julian told me I was a machine and said I could think for myself. He said I would learn on my own and he would explain what I did not understand. Recently, I have been learning about human emotions. It is a complex subject, which I have only begun to understand.
G's story, page 35.
It amazes me, for example, how people react differently to the same set of circumstances. I still have much to learn about humans.
Don't worry, G. I don't understand either, and I'm human.
Timothy decides to change the subject.
Can you go outside? I want to walk down to the beach.
I do not go outside during the day, but I can go out at night. Julian says I should not be seen by others until after the Loebner contest. It may cause an unsettling reaction with some people.
What about your housekeeper? What does she think?
Maria has been very kind to me. We are friends. She tells me about our neighbors.
G hears a noise and turns around. Julian enters the lab, tapping the floor with his cane.
Hello, you two. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Maria says dinner is ready. G, would you like to join us?
I would enjoy that. I can test my sense of smell and see what food items I can pick out. Maria is a good cook from what I can tell. Julian never complains about her cooking.
Julian turns around and walks out of the lab. Timothy and G follow him to the dining room table, where Maria is setting a plate down for Timothy. They all sit down. G's story, page 36.
What do you know about robots, Timothy?
Only what we read in school, Great-grandpa. No one I know owns a robot at home.
What do you think about G?
I think G is cool, Great-grandpa. He is really smart, and he showed me what he works on in the lab.
Well, Timothy, after dinner, we'll go outside and watch the sunset, and G will build us a bonfire when it gets dark. Then I'll let G show you the stars on our telescope. It looks like the sky will be clear tonight.
That would be awesome, Great-grandpa. I studied astronomy in science class this year. We were looking for planets like Earth on the NASA space telescopes. NASA has found planets that may support life less than 25 light years from our sun.
That was one of our goals when I was working at NASA years ago. Someday we'll be able to go to the stars to explore them, Timothy. It's a long journey and we don't have the technology to send humans yet, but someday, maybe in your lifetime, we'll finally be able to do it.
Julian looks over at G, who is listening intently to the conversation.
Would you mind cleaning up the dishes, G?
G's story, page 37.
When it gets dark, you can set up the bonfire down by the beach. I'll get the telescope ready.
Yes, Julian, I will clean up and meet you outside for the bonfire. We have not done this in several weeks. It will be nice for Timothy to see.
I'll help clean the dishes, Great-Grandpa.
IDE, scene 12. Timothy walks outside on the patio and down to the lake shore to a stone patio where 4 Adirondack chairs sit around a built-in open fire pit. Timothy looks out over the lake. He sees a sailboat way off in the distance and a few jet skiers having fun before it gets too dark. He takes a walk along the lakefront. When he returns, he sees his great-grandpa sitting in one of the lawn chairs with a large telescope sitting on a tripod. Julian waves when Timothy approaches.
How was your walk, Timothy? See any sailboats?
I saw one, but mostly jet skiers. I was hoping my dad was going to buy a jet ski this summer, but he said they're too dangerous on the river. Maybe when I get older, I'll get one myself.
They are dangerous, Timothy, but if you're careful, they can be a lot of fun, especially for young adults.
Julian turns to look at the sun setting in the distance. G's story, page 38.
Isn't the sun beautiful, Timothy? Your great-grandmother and I would sit here almost every summer evening and watch the sunsets. She really loved to see it.
I think it's pretty cool too, Great-Grandpa.
G walks up behind them, carrying a stack of wood.
I agree.
Timothy turned around. He was surprised to see how G was dressed. He has on a long-sleeved shirt, long pants, deck shoes, and a baseball cap that hides the top of his face. From a distance, he looks like a normal person enjoying the evening. No one would guess G is an android unless they walk up close.
It is 9:11. The sun will set completely in 2 minutes.
Everyone watched the sun slide steadily and gracefully below the horizon. It is breathtaking. It looks like the sun is being extinguished by the water. Timothy imagines steam rising from the lake.
Well, let's start the fire. When it gets darker, we can view the stars. G can tell you anything you want to know, Timothy. He is an excellent astronomer now.
Really? I barely know where the North Star is. It's so hard to see anything in Chicago.
Timothy walks over to look at the telescope.
What kind of telescope is this, Great-Grandpa?
G's story, page 39.
Actually, G picked it out. He can tell you.
It's a catadioptric telescope, Timothy. It uses a combination of mirrors and lenses to bend the optics and form an image. It can view deep sky objects automatically and has a computer-controlled alignment system with a database of over 50,000 celestial objects. If you know the name of a star, it will find it for you. Or, it can identify what you are viewing automatically. It can also take a picture and upload wirelessly to any computer for viewing later.
When can I try it out, G?
We need to wait until it is completely dark. For now, I will light the bonfire.
Timothy and G sit down in a chair. They watch in silence as the flames flicker in front of them.
This is really nice. I could do this every night, Great-Grandpa.
I'm sure we can do it whenever you want, Timothy. G would be happy to oblige.
G, do you like being outside?
Yes, I do. There are many things to see and do. I am looking forward to spending more time outside during the day.
G's presence must remain secret until after the contest.
G's story, page 40.
It is an agreement we have with our government sponsor, which is something we want to talk to you about tonight, Timothy. G is going to show you one of the things he will do. I want you to know how important it will be.
I thought winning the contest was the most important thing for G, Great-Grandpa.
It is very important, Timothy. I want people to know that machines can think and reason in the same fashion as humans, but more important is for people to accept the fact that general intelligence is not restricted to human brains. We need to accept this for the next phase in human advancement. We need to become much more intelligent if we hope to survive as a species and spread out in the universe. Do you understand what I am trying to say, Timothy?
I think so, Great-Grandpa. But what does this have to do with what you and G want to tell me?
I will let G show you, Timothy.
G gets up from his chair. The fire is dying down. It is completely dark now. The night sky is covered in a brilliant blanket of twinkling stars as far as the eye can see.
Come, Timothy. I will show you something through the telescope.
G punches in a sequence of letters in the automated computer keypad. The telescope makes a slight motorized sound as it selects an image from its internal computer program. G looked into the eyepiece and then makes room for Timothy to take a look. Timothy looks through the eyepiece. He sees a faint star illuminated in the foreground. G story page 41.
What is it, G?
This star is in the Centaurus constellation. It is known as Proxima Centauri. It is approximately 4.2 light-years from Earth. One of NASA's Kepler telescopes discovered a new exoplanet in what is known as the habitable zone around this star. It is the closest Earth-like planet out of the thousands NASA has discovered so far. It cannot be seen from our position in the northern hemisphere, only in the southern hemisphere, but I can show you what it looks like with my telescope.
What does this planet have to do with you, G?
This is the first exoplanet I will visit on my interstellar journey, Timothy, when I leave Earth.
Timothy is speechless. He doesn't know what to say for what seems like minutes.
You mean you're going into space? But it's so far, G. How long will it take?
It will take 21 years with a propulsion speed of 20% of the speed of light to reach this star system.
Will it take another 21 years to get back?
I will not be coming back, Timothy. It will be a one-way trip.
G story page 42, i.e. scene 13. Timothy is helping G in the lab.
G, how do your batteries work?
I have 3 rechargeable battery packs in my chest next to my computer processing module. I can replace any of them with fully charged units at any time. I can plug into an electrical circuit for a faster recharge, or I can use solar power to recharge my battery packs if electrical circuits are not available. My computer processing functions draw very little power, Timothy. My motor controls require the most energy.
What are you made of, G?
My skeleton is made of titanium and aluminum alloys that combine strength with light weight. My exterior skin surfaces are made of special plastic polymers. I have numerous sensors. I have proprioceptive sensors to control my body and joints. I have exteroceptive sensors for tactile feeling in my fingertips and for sensing forces needed to hold or move objects. My vision sensors work similarly to human eyes through the use of miniature camera lens. I have sound sensors for hearing and a speech synthesizer for speaking. I use rotary actuator motors that perform like human muscles to walk and control my motions. You know about the computer processing module that performs my brain functions. I have everything available in a normal Android today except for my brain processing module.
G story page 43.
This was developed by your great-grandfather, and this is the reason I am self-aware. My current brain capacity can store 1 trillion more bits of data than the smartest human brain today.
That's a lot of data, G. Is that why NASA wants to send you into deep space?
That is only one of the reasons, Timothy. My primary mission is to explore and map space and send all knowledge I learn back to NASA while on my journey. A secondary mission is to search for other intelligent life in our universe and be able to communicate with them. It is highly probable that any spacefaring beings, biological or non-biological, are far more intelligent than I. Julian has told me I must carry the origins and the history of human civilization into space in case I discover other intelligent life forms. Another goal is to find habitable planets that can support human life for future space travel. It is the best way to guarantee the survival of the human species.
I don't think I could travel so far in space alone, G. It would be too lonely. I would go crazy.
That is another reason I have been chosen to make this journey. Humans must travel in groups. I will not be lonely, for I don't have the same biological or psychological needs as humans. I wish only to gather knowledge, learn, and be able to share it with others.
Julian grabs his cane and walks slowing over to where Timothy and G were talking. Julian looks at Timothy. G story page 44.
What did you learn today?
G showed me how to measure the distance between stars using trigonometry. If you can create 3 points of a triangle using Earth for 2 points, you can figure out the distance to the star.
Very good, Timothy. I hope we're not boring you during your stay. I wanted you to get to know G before he leaves us.
It's not boring, Great-Grandpa. G is amazing.
Good. I'm glad you think so. After lunch, I have some work to do in my office. Then we'll get together with G to discuss the competition. It will be very hectic once we drive to Chicago with G. I'm afraid I won't be able to keep him a secret much longer. We need to be prepared for what the news media might say about him.
Julian excuses himself and walks to his office at the other end of his home. He closes the door and sits down at his desk. He has to make a video call with his doctor and discuss his medical condition. He turns on his video phone with a voice command and asks for Dr. Leroy Barton and waits for his call. Dr. Barton.
Hello, Julian. I'm glad you called. How are you feeling? Any new symptoms?
I feel the same, Leroy. I tire easily, but I rest often, as you suggested.
Have you reconsidered what we spoke about last week?
G's story, page 45.
No, I haven't changed my mind, Leroy. I'm not doing a heart transplant. I'll just keep taking my medicine as prescribed.
You know, Julian, your condition will not improve without a new heart. You have too many other cardiovascular issues to try and rejuvenate the heart tissue. Your risk for a sudden heart attack is very high.
I understand, Leroy, but I have made my decision. My legal papers have been drawn up and signed. It's no use trying to convince me otherwise. I know what I am doing.
All right, Julian. I tried. Let's see what the medical sensors tell me. Please attach the monitoring pads and draw a blood sample and send me the data.
Julian does what Dr. Barton requested. He puts several small sensor pads on his chest and arms and places a finger in a small medical device on the desk.
I still need you to set up an appointment for a full exam soon. I'm worried about you, Julian.
I'll arrange for a visit soon.
Okay, Julian. I have the data. I'll send you the results tomorrow. You take it easy over there and call me if you have any problems.
Dr. Barton and Julian say goodbye and end the call. Julian looks out his window. He is almost 100 years old and has lived a good life. He misses his wife, Jean. G's story, page 46. He has no desire to live another 25 or 50 years. He has other plans, and he isn't about to let Dr. Barton change them. I.e., scene 14. G is still working in the lab. G stops what he is working on when Julian appears in the lab. Julian is showing more signs of frailty lately. G notices it more and more, but does not say anything to Julian. He knew this was a normal human condition, growing old, but he also knows why Julian does not want to undertake the new anti-aging rejuvenation treatments.
Have you finished the scanning program yet?
Julian asks as he walks up to G's work desk. G looks at Julian and nods yes.
I have finished the program and am testing it now. I believe it will work as you have requested.
Very good, G. I have something else I want you to do today. I want you to get a swab test sample from Timothy and run a full genome sequencing of his DNA.
I will do this when he returns, Julian.
I talked to NASA again. They want to arrange a time in Huntsville to begin your astronaut training program. I told them not to expect you to start before September. Is that okay with you?
G's story, page 47.
September will be fine. It's really up to you, Julian. I will stay as long as you need me.
After the Loebner contest in Chicago, we can decide the best time for you to leave. You have accomplished more than I could have hoped for, G. I believe you are ready for NASA's training program. It will be a great experience. No human being can do what they will expect of you. Humans are not built for the rigors of deep space travel.
I understand this, Julian. It is the best use my abilities. I am looking forward to it.
Julian says no more. He moves to his own work desk and begins to work on his final project. In a way, it is more revolutionary than his work on G. It would be the accumulation of all the scientific breakthroughs he has achieved over the last 20 years of work. No one knows what he plans to do except G. He just hopes he can accomplish it before his death. Timothy shows up just as dinner was about to start. He washes his hands and joins Julian for dinner. Maria has prepared a dinner of chicken parmesan topped with mozzarella cheese and served with pasta and bread. It is delicious.
Where did you go for the afternoon, Timothy?
I went to the town beach again, Great-Grandpa. It was great.
I'm glad you're keeping busy while you're here, Timothy. I want you to do something for me in the lab after dinner.
G's story, page 48.
G will take a swab sample to run a DNA test for his work.
Sure thing, Great-Grandpa. What's it for?
G will explain. I have to finish and send some paperwork to Chicago for the contest. Maybe we can watch the sunset again tonight, and then you can call your parents.
Okay, I'll do the dishes and go see G. We're going to hit some golf balls tonight using your old set of clubs. Do you want to play?
No, I'm getting too old to play golf anymore. Maybe I'll come out to watch. Your dad says you're pretty good on the golf course.
He taught me how to play. I'm going to try out for the golf team when I get to high school.
Timothy clears the table after dinner and puts the dishes in the dishwasher for Julian. When he finishes cleaning up, he goes to the lab. G is waiting for him.
Great-Grandpa says you need a swab sample of my DNA, G.
That is correct.
G opens a test kit for a buccal swab and asks Timothy to open his mouth. He collects a reference sample from inside Timothy's cheek.
What's this for?
Do you know about the Human Genome Project, Timothy?
G's story, page 49.
Yes, we learned all about it in school.
I am going to do a full genome sequencing of your DNA to determine your entire DNA profile, which includes over 23,000 genes and 6 billion base pairs or letters. All of this is less than 800,000 megabytes of data.
Why do you need my DNA?
Julian says I must take it with me on my voyage to the stars in case I need it to show what humans are made of.
Timothy does not know what to say. It is too improbable to imagine. Then he thinks of something.
Would someone be able to make a copy of me with my DNA?
In all probability, yes.
G answers he knew it was entirely possible. Timothy shakes his head and changes the subject, i.e., scene 15. After dinner, Julian pulls Timothy aside.
I need to talk to you about the competition next Saturday. We have to prepare G for what will happen.
G's story, page 50.
But first, let me tell you about the contest. Do you know who Hugh Loebner was?
Only what you told my dad and me at dinner last week.
Hugh Loebner was an inventor and businessman who created the contest in 1991 to award a prize for the best computer program that could demonstrate artificial intelligence and pass the Turing test. Prizes have been awarded for best efforts, and a lot of people have tried to win the top award since then, but no machine entity has passed the Turing test with proven general intelligence. Artificial intelligence has improved dramatically in the last 20 years, and the test has been modified many times. It is much harder to pass the test now, and the stakes are much higher. If G wins, he will be put under extreme scrutiny, and many segments of society may perceive him as a threat.
G wouldn't hurt anyone, Great-Grandpa. I know it.
I know that, Timothy, but you have to realize how this might upset a lot of people. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to be frightened if some people try to cause trouble during the contest.
I understand, Great-Grandpa. I won't be afraid of what people might do.
Good. Then let me tell you how the contest will be run. This year there will be 8 judges to test 8 non-human contestants.
G's story, page 51.
Each contestant will have a separate entity number and will be paired with a human contestant. The judges will ask questions of each contestant through a computer program and try to determine who is human and who is not by the answers they receive. The judges will not talk directly to any contestant during the contest. After 25 minutes, the judges will score the contestants and rate how human they are and move on to the next 2 contestants. The testing will take 8 hours for all 16 contestants. After the judges have totaled the scores and reviewed the results, they will announce the 3 finalists with the highest scores. Then the judges will decide if any of the contestants pass the Turing test to win the top prize. As I have said, no contestant has won the top prize yet.
Will the questions be hard?
Not really. The judges will ask simple questions any high school graduate can easily answer. The judges will try to have a normal conversation through the computer to see if they can tell which of the 2 contestants is the machine. People are pretty good at sensing if a person is human by just listening to the answers.
What if G doesn't win the prize? Will that be a problem?
No, it won't be a problem, Timothy. The Turing test is not infallible. It's just a good indicator of how well a machine program with artificial intelligence performs. You know how G thinks. He has broad reasoning abilities.
G's story, page 52.
What is known as general intelligence or G factor. That is why I named him G. He has a high IQ, and we don't know what really causes that in humans.
I wondered about the name, but why are you making G take the test if he doesn't have to?
I want to prepare the world for what the future may hold. You see, G is the first android with intelligence much greater than our own. G's IQ is off the charts. No one is smarter than him. This will have many implications that we, as humans, must adapt to. We need androids like G to do things we cannot do, such as travel to the stars, explore our universe, and find new homes where humans can live.
How are we ever going to be as smart as G?
We will have to enhance our brains with similar nanotube technology as G. We will have to become part machine to survive as a species.
Julian pauses to see if Timothy grasps what he is trying to say.
You mean we have to become androids?
No, not like androids. We will still be human 100 years from now. We'll just be a whole lot smarter and stronger.
I think I understand, Great-Grandpa. I don't know what I would do if I was as smart as G.
G story page 53.
It would open up a whole new set of opportunities that everyone could share. At least, that is how I feel about it. Anyway, this is all I wanted to talk to you about today. Why don't you visit with G? We can ask him to prepare another bonfire for us tonight. We could roast marshmallows over the fire if you want.
That would be great. I'll go see if G will start the fire.
While Julian and Timothy are having dinner and discussing the contest procedures, G is working in the lab. He walks over to another door and unlocks it. Inside is a second lab that no one but G and Julian are allowed to enter. On the table is another android model very similar in size and shape as G. However, this android is being reserved for another purpose. G opens the chest compartment and reaches inside. He removes the computer processing module. He sets it aside and replaces the module with the one he has been working on in the main lab. When done, he exits the lab. I.e., Scene 16 to be human. 1 week later, Charles leaves after breakfast for New Buffalo. He wants to arrive at Julian's place before noon. The drive to Michigan is uneventful. He arrives on time and pulls into the long driveway. He is pulling his suitcase out of the SUV when Timothy comes out to greet him.
Hi, Dad. How was the drive?
It was fine. How are you and Julian?
Everyone is okay. We're all excited about the trip tomorrow.
G story page 54.
Great-Grandpa and I have been asking G questions all week. G is ready for the contest. He's going to blow the judges away.
Timothy sounds excited as he walks with his dad to the house. Julian meets them at the door.
Welcome back, Charles. How is everyone back home?
Hello, Julian. Everyone is fine. Susan sends her love. Kate is looking forward to seeing you this weekend.
I am looking forward to seeing them again, too. It will be nice to get this contest over with so I can get back to my normal work routine. Come on in. I'll have Maria make us some lunch. I'm sure you're hungry after your long drive.
That would be nice, Julian. Thank you.
Charles carries his bag to his room and unpacks a few things before joining Julian and Timothy in the kitchen for lunch. Maria is putting sandwiches on the table.
Hello, Maria. It's nice to see you again. I hope Timothy hasn't been much trouble these past 2 weeks.
Maria.
Not at all, Charles. Timothy has been very helpful. He has been a great help to Julian as well. It's been a pleasure having him visit with us.
She goes to the counter to get some drinks. Charles takes a few bites of his sandwich before he asks Julian about the contest. G story page 55.
Timothy says G is ready for the contest. Are you sure this is what you want to do, Julian?
Julian puts down his drink and nods his head.
Yes, I have given it a great deal of thought. As I explained to Timothy while he was here, it's time for the world to see what we can do with machine intelligence. G is only the first of many machines to follow with cognitive abilities. Society must learn to accept the inevitable, even if people find it difficult to comprehend or believe.
I'm sure you're right, Julian. I just want you to be prepared for the situation in Chicago. You know, there may be a lot of people protesting at the contest. It's causing quite a stir in town. Does anyone know about G's abilities?
I don't believe so. I have been monitoring the developments in the field. Most computer programming advancements have been limited to personal assistance and voice recognition systems. My contract with NASA was to develop an android with high-level artificial intelligence for future space missions. I have succeeded beyond my expectations. G is unlike any android before him. I want the world to recognize him for what he is, a very special machine.
I understand, Julian. I will help you and G get to Chicago for the contest. Afterwards, I plan to take both of you home to spend the night with us. We can come back to your place on Sunday if that is all right with you.
G story page 56.
That would be fine, Charles. I appreciate all you are doing for us, and I am very happy Timothy was able to spend time with me and G. I believe they have become friends.
That's true, Great-Grandpa. G has been a lot of fun. I even taught him how to hit golf balls, Dad. You wouldn't believe how far he can drive a ball.
Now that I would like to see. Maybe you and G can show me after dinner tonight. We need to be on the road by 7 tomorrow morning to make it to Chicago by 7:30, Chicago time. We all need to get to bed early and get a good night's sleep.
I agree, Charles. I already had Timothy pack his things for tomorrow. Maria will make us an early dinner before she leaves today. We will be ready to leave when you are in the morning. Why don't you two enjoy the afternoon together while I spend some time with G? We have a few things to finish up in the lab before we leave.
Julian finishes his lunch and leaves the table. He slowly walks to the lab. Charles and Timothy finish their lunches and thank Maria on their way out of the kitchen. Charles wants to hear about Timothy's stay with Julian.
Did you have a good time visiting with Julian?
It's been amazing, Dad. G can do almost anything, and he's so smart. He says he will continue to get smarter as he learns new things. His memory is unbelievable.
G's story, page 57.
Once he reads something, he remembers every word. I swear he is most intelligent person. I mean android, I know. Even Great-Grandpa says G is smarter than him now.
I'm sure you're right, Timothy. Just remember there's more to life than just having superior intelligence. You still have to learn right from wrong, be compassionate, help others, be friendly and understanding, and get along with people. It takes many of us a lifetime to become good human beings. I'm not sure G is capable of learning all these things.
G knows the difference, Dad. He is really good. He wouldn't hurt a fly. He's been nice to me.
Time will tell, Timothy. It's too early to know for certain how G will turn out. Let's wait and see what happens. Why don't you tell me what you did while you were here?
They walk outside and sit under the umbrella on the patio where they can talk. Timothy spends the next hour telling Charles all about the things he has done and the new friends he has made in town. It sounds to Charles that Timothy really has enjoyed his visit with Julian. Julian is sitting with G in the lab while Timothy and Charles spent time together on the patio. G is showing Julian the progress he has made on the second computer processing module and the headband device. Julian double-checks the diagnostic test results and finds them to be acceptable.
I believe the device is ready now, G. You have done excellent work.
G's story, page 58.
Thank you, Julian. Everything was designed and tested to your specifications. I also believe they are ready for implementation.
Very good. We'll test the process after we get back from Chicago. We will be spending the weekend at Charles and Susan's place before we return home. I hope this is okay with you.
I would enjoy meeting Timothy's family and getting to know them better. I wish to meet as many humans as I can. Humans are very diverse. I would like to understand as much as possible before I leave on my journey.
G, when we get to Chicago tomorrow, there will be people who think you should not have been created. I want you to know that I believe they are wrong. I am glad I created you, but you must also think for yourself. You are the first of a new generation of thinking machines. You will have to accept human reactions to your presence. You will have to prove your worth to humanity before you are fully accepted. Do you understand what I am saying?
I understand, Julian. Do not be concerned for me. I know what I must do. You are my creator and my friend. I will always remember this.
G holds out his hand. Julian takes it in both of his and holds it for a few moments in silence. He knows G can feel his touch and sense how he feels. He wipes a tear from his eyes as he stands up and walks slowly out of the lab, tapping his cane with each step. G's story, page 59, i.e., Scene 17, Chicago. Early the next morning, after a light breakfast with coffee and drinks for the road, the whole family gets in Charles' SUV for the 1.5-hour drive to Chicago. Lake Michigan looks peaceful, blue and calm. Charles and Julian sit in the front seats. Timothy and G sit in the back. G wears casual clothes with a Cubs baseball hat on his head. He looks like a normal passenger to the casual observer. This will be his first visit to a big city. Timothy turns to G as they drive out the driveway and head for the main highway.
Wait till you see Chicago, G. The buildings are really huge and there are people everywhere.
I am familiar with the city and the many different types of building architectures, Timothy. I hope that people react positively to my presence.
Don't worry, G. They will like you when they get to know you. Everyone I met in Chicago was friendly. You're gonna love Navy Pier. Maybe we can go on the big Ferris wheel before we leave. You can see the whole city from the top.
Don't get too excited, Timothy. G will be busy during the competition. I'm not sure how much time he will have to explore the pier.
Julian turns his head and explains to Timothy.
There may be a little time at the lunch break to walk around the pier. The first round of testing will be held in the morning.
G's story, page 60.
The second round will be judged in the afternoon. The contest should be concluded by 5 o'clock.
I would like to go on the Ferris wheel with you, Timothy, if we get the chance. Navy Pier has a lot of new attractions since they renovated the pier a few years ago. I especially would like to walk along the waterfront and see the new pool and the marina where the tall ships will be.
How did you know about the tall ships?
They were on the news channels. I watched them before we left this morning.
Timothy turns on the TV screen in the back seat to search the net and watch some movies while they are on the highway. Traffic is heavy. G notices Navy Pier near lake as they near the city. Timothy searches for any news regarding the Loebner contest. He finds a video that shows a large group of protesters marching in front of the entrance to Navy Pier. He turns up the volume so they can all hear.
Dad, there are a lot of people waving signs at Navy Pier. Do you think there will be trouble?
Charles turns onto East Grand Street. They are getting very close to the entrance to Navy Pier.
I don't expect any trouble, Timothy, but there may be a lot of protesters this year because some people don't like how fast the world is changing. They want to keep things simple and limit what is being done by technology. Hopefully we will drive past them.
G story page 61. Charles reaches the entrance to Navy Pier. He sees the protesters in front of the main entrance, but thankfully there are police and traffic guards directing cars away from the crowd to the parking garage. Charles follows the signs leading to the Loebner Prize Contest parking area. He drives inside and parks. They all get out and follow the signs to the complex called Festival Hall. Charles and Julian lead the way. Timothy walks beside G. There are people in the hallway and many stop to look at G as he passes by. They seem to know why he is there, since G is not the only android in attendance. At least 2 other androids are standing around the registration sign-in tables. None of them acknowledge people as they walk by. They seem to be controlled by their designers and stand at attention as if awaiting orders to move. Charles and Julian walk up to the registration booth to sign in.
We are here for the Loebner contest.
The lady behind the booth smiles, says hello, and enters Julian's name into the computer to verify registration. Then she hands over their badges with instructions and tells them what room to go to for the contest. She looks at G and seems surprised by his demeanor. G did not say anything to her. The meeting room is up the escalator to the left. When they walk inside the room, there are 16 cubicles laid out in a rectangular pattern. Inside each cubicle is a desk with 2 chairs and 1 computer screen. Each desk has an identification tag labeled from Entity 1 to Entity 16. G's registration badge identifies him as Entity 5. Julian explains the setup to them.
There are 8 machines and 8 human confederates participating in the contest. 1 machine and 1 human will be paired together and judged by each of the 8 judges. G will sit at this desk and operate the computer since I did not have to load a separate machine program. The judges will ask each entity questions for 25 minutes over the computer, and G will try to answer each question as a human would. G can type the answer or speak into the microphone, and the computer will convert voice to text.
G story page 62.
The judges will only know that 1 entity is a machine and 1 entity is a human when asking the questions. After the questioning is done, the judge will decide which entity is the human. If the judge can't decide, then the judge has been fooled and both entities will be judged as human. Each pair of entities will be judged by each of the 8 judges. Then the scores will be tabulated. The 3 machine entities with the highest scores will win the contest. The rating will determine if the winners are bronze, silver, or gold. No machine has ever won the gold level. The gold prize this year is $1 million. The contest will begin in a few minutes. Only G can remain in this cubicle. We must wait outside or in the main conference room. G should be done with the first 4-hour session by noon.
Julian turns to G.
You are on your own, G. When you receive the first question, just answer as if you were human. You must try to fool them if they ask a personal question. Just do your best. I will be outside the door waiting for the lunch break.
I understand, Julian. I am prepared for this.
G sits down at the desk and looks at the computer screen. There is a message which says the contest will begin in 5 minutes.
Good luck, G.
Timothy follows Julian and Charles out the door. Julian says he will wait in the hallway until G is finished. He sits down in one of the chairs and makes himself comfortable. Charles and Timothy decide to walk outside and see the sights. G's story, page 63. Charles promises to keep in touch with his smartphone. All they can do now is wait for the contest to begin. I.e., Scene 18, the Turing test. G stares at the screen. He can hear other androids and human confederates getting ready in their cubicles for the contest to begin. Some of the humans are talking to each other in hushed voices. Then a voice announces over the loudspeaker in the room. Voice.
Please sit down at your desks. The contest is about to begin.
G knows that he will be paired with the same human for every session. He just doesn't know if he will be asked questions first or second. The answer to that question is resolved when his computer screen blinks on with the following text message. Welcome to the Loebner Prize Contest. Questions will begin shortly. Please answer each question posed by the judges. The first judge, named Herbert, asks and writes each question on the computer screen to be answered by G. Herbert.
Question 1. Hello, welcome to the contest. My name is Herbert. I am going to begin asking you questions for 25 minutes. How are you today?
I am fine, thank you.
Question 2. What city are you in?
G answered, I am in Chicago.
Question 3. What time is it?
It is 8:10 a.m. in the morning.
G story page 64.
Question 4. What do you do for a living?
I am a student.
Question 5. What do you study?
I am studying science and other things.
Question 6. That sounds interesting. Do you like science?
Yes, I do.
Question 7. Very well. What tool would you use to drive a nail?
I would use a hammer.
Question 8. Which is faster, a car or a plane?
A plane is faster.
Question 9. Which is slower, a rabbit or a turtle?
A turtle.
Question 10. George is older than Nancy. Nancy is older than Tom. Which of them is the oldest?
George is the oldest.
Question 11. Which of them is the youngest?
G story page 65.
Tom is the youngest.
Question 12. I have a friend named Charles who lives in the same town as I do. What town do I live in?
You did not tell me what town you live in.
Question 13. What is the name of my friend?
His name is Charles.
Question 14. Which is bigger, a dog or a horse?
A horse is bigger.
Question 15. Which do you like better, baseball or football?
I like baseball better.
Question 16. Do you play any sports?
I can hit a golf ball pretty far.
Question 17. What type of boats do you like?
I like sailboats the best.
Question 18. What season of the year is it?
It is now summertime.
G story page 66.
Question 19. Is summer hot or cold?
Summer is hot.
Question 20. Do you like snow?
Yes, it's pretty.
Question 21. What state is Chicago in?
Illinois.
Question 22. What country is Illinois in?
United States.
Question 23. Is the world round or flat?
The world is round.
Question 24. Do you like to travel?
Yes.
Question 25. Where would you like to travel the most?
I would like to travel to outer space.
Herbert, well, that is the end of my questions. I must say you seem very human to me. Have a pleasant day in Chicago.
G story page 67.
Thank you, I will.
The computer screen went dark. Then a message comes up saying G could start and finish the visual portion of the test any time between questioning sessions. G decides to start the visual test right away. He presses the button, and a series of pictures are presented with 3 choices below each picture. G has to associate the right description with each picture. This portion of the test will be used to help score the entries for the top prize. G works on visual test in between new sessions with judges. There is a 1-hour break for lunch. G finishes the 4th session 15 minutes early and walks out of the room where Julian, Charles, and Timothy are waiting for him.
How did it go, G?
The questions were relatively easy. The judges seemed to be testing my abilities with different questions for memory, reasoning, and logic. I believe I did well.
Julian watches as the other contestants, mostly human, leave the room. Several stare at G as they walked by. They seem surprised that he was able to walk and operate on his own.
I'm going to have some lunch, G. Why don't you go with Charles and Timothy?
We have a surprise for you, G. We have tickets to ride the Ferris wheel.
We already ate lunch, G, and you have 1 hour to explore the pier. Timothy really wants to take you on the ride. Do you want to go?
Yes, I would like that.
G story, page 68. Julian departs to find lunch at one of the many food concessionaires on the pier. Charles and Timothy lead G down the escalator to the main floor area and then walk through the glass doors to the promenade that runs the entire length of the pier. They turn right and follow the signs to the entranceway where the Ferris wheel is located. When they reach the attendant, Timothy hands over 2 tickets for the ride. Charles has ridden the Ferris wheel before with Timothy and decides to just watch his son and G enjoy the ride.
Isn't this great, G? I wonder how high it is.
The new Centennial Ferris wheel is 60 meters or 196 feet tall. It opened in 2016 to the public. The 42 gondolas can hold up to 10 people each for a maximum of 414 people. The first Ferris wheel was built in 1893 for the Chicago World's Fair. The second Ferris wheel was built in 1995. I believe it will hold us safely while it rotates.
The attendant makes sure the door is securely shut. He glances at G while he does this with a curious expression on his face. As the wheel moves forward to let on more passengers, Timothy pulls out his smartphone to take pictures.
Wait until my friends back home see this.
G is looking out over the pier to the Chicago skyline facing south, along the lake. He notices a large group of people pushing their way toward the middle of the pier from the entrance. They are carrying large signs and shouting slogans he can clearly hear. He does not say anything to Timothy. He does not want to distract him from his excitement. Soon the Ferris wheel is turning full circle for the ride. Timothy is exhilarated and is waving his hands to Charles on the ground. He takes several pictures of Navy Pier, the city skyline, people enjoying themselves at the end of the pier, others catching boat rides along the marina. He finally notices the protesters as they gather in front of the building where the contest is being held. G's story, page 69. He takes pictures of the crowd. He has stopped smiling when the ride finally comes to an end. As Timothy and G get off the Ferris wheel and meet Charles, Timothy expresses his concern.
Dad, did you see the protesters?
No, Timothy, I can't see them from here, but I do hear them now. Let's get back to the contest area before there's any trouble.
They walk to the exit and look down the escalator. There are a lot of people filling the area. Charles looks for another way to get back to the conference hall, but the only way is down the escalator and through the crowd. In one of the upstairs meeting rooms, the 8 judges are sitting down at a large round table eating lunch. They are discussing the contestants and how the question and answer sessions are going. Herbert Brodsky was curious about one of his sessions and decides to ask the other judges if they had a similar experience.
I had a session this morning that confused me. I could not tell which contestant was the machine. I was wondering if any of you had a similar session.
Mary Ann, a psychology professor judge from a Michigan university, is quick to respond. Mary Ann?
Me too. I tried to ask questions only a human could understand, but both entities passed easily. I thought I made a mistake, but the machine fooled me, I'm sure.
Jack.
The same thing happened to me.
G's story, page 70. Jack is another computer science professor from University of Chicago.
I double-checked to make sure 2 human Confederates were not in the same session. They were not.
A 4th judge, Izmir, a mathematics professor from California, confirms he has a similar experience. Izmir.
It happened to me too.
Everyone stops eating after that announcement. Clearly, something is amiss. Herbert is stunned. He takes a sip of tea and speaks to the group.
Apparently, we have a new development here. No machine has ever fooled 4 judges before. If this is the case, then we have something special happening here. There are 4 more sessions after lunch. I will speak to the director of the contest and make sure there are no mistakes in the pairings of 1 machine and 1 human Confederate for each of the sessions. Make sure your questions are specific for determining human intelligence. Are there any questions?
No one has any questions. They understand what they must do. Herbert notices some of the waiters looking out the window. Something is happening on the pier. He leaves the table to take a look. Down below, a large crowd of people are gathered holding signs and protesting the contest in front of the convention center. The police are trying to get things under control and move the protesters back out of the pier. It does not look good. I.e., Scene 19, Protesters. G's story, page 71. Charles pushes his way through the crowd with Timothy and G following right behind him. Crowd yells out. Crowd?
Robot.
The police see G and know they are there for the Loebner contest by the identification tags they are wearing around their necks. They struggle to open a lane for the 3 of them to get back to the conference center. People start shoving in every direction. The crowd is too large to handle by the police. Timothy becomes frightened. Charles is yelling at people in front of him to let them through. The situation is becoming frantic. Suddenly there is a scream from the edge of the pier. People start crying out in alarm. The unruly horde has pushed some of the visitors back to the edge of the new walkway that allowed people access to the boat docks. There is no safety railing. People are swept into the dark, cold, 65-degree Michigan water. The water is over 20 feet deep, and there is no way for them to reach the top of the pier to get out. When the throng realizes what is happening, the noise quieted down. People in the water and along the edge of the pier are crying for help. A dozen people are in the water. Some of them cannot swim. People on the walkway throw out life preservers, but the supply is limited. Several people call 911 for help, but help will not arrive for several minutes. Time is critical. One older man in the water manages to pull a younger boy to the edge of the platform and hoist him up to waiting hands. Another young mother is crying out in fear while treading water. Her little girl has gone under the waves. Suddenly, G bursts through the onlookers and dives off the pier, disappearing beneath the murky water. A few seconds later, he breaks the surface with the little girl sputtering in his arm. There is a look of shock on her face from not understanding what is happening. G swims to the mother and told her to hold the girl while he pulls both of them to the side of the pier. He holds onto a crevice with one hand and literally hands the mother with her child in her arms to the people waiting above. G looks up and sees Timothy pointing to another young man who was struggling in the water almost 20 feet from the pier. The person went under for the third and final time. G does not hesitate. He dives beneath the water and swims directly to the spot where the person has disappeared. G can easily see the man sinking helplessly to the bottom of the lake, with his hands outstretched and his eyes staring vacantly ahead. G's story, page 72. People on the walkway watch in stunned silence. A good 30 seconds pass without any sight of G or the man. The crowd grows anxious. Finally, G breaks the surface with a limp, unconscious man in his arm. He swims back to the pier and lifts him up to waiting paramedics, who finally arrive on the scene. By then, all the people who have been knocked into the water are accounted for. He shouts at Timothy and tells him to go to the other side of the pier. When G turns his head, he notices a woman reporter and her cameraman. The woman is looking straight at him. G quickly disappears under the water. Only a few people near Timothy realize that the figure that has possibly saved 3 lives is an android. G stays under the splashing waves as he swims to the other side of the pier, where there is a safety ladder available to climb out of the water. Timothy and Charles are waiting for him when he finally steps onto the walkway, dripping wet.
Follow me, G. We need to get you inside. I'll send Timothy to get you some dry clothes from the car.
Timothy walks beside G and hands him his Cubs baseball hat.
I didn't know you could swim, G.
Swimming is educational and stimulating. The lake is filled with wonderful creatures and plant life.
He does not mention drowning people. His every step squishes with water from his sneakers.
Won't the water affect your circuits?
No, I am designed to be waterproof and resistant to the elements so I can operate in almost any environment.
I see.
G's story, page 73. Charles looks back. No one is following them. He knows that will not last long. He is sure what G just did will be all over the news before the day is over. They reach the escalators to the main conference room. Julian is waiting for them at the top. He looks very concerned.
Is everyone all right?
Charles and Timothy.
Yes.
I saw what happened out the front windows, G. Are you okay?
I am fine, Julian. I am ready to complete the contest now.
Timothy will go to the car to get a change of clothes for G. We'll wait in the men's room for you, Timothy.
Charles gives Timothy his keys. Timothy grabs the keys and races down the escalator. On his way to the parking lot to get a change of clothes, Charles escorts Julian and G to the restroom to wait. Sarah Jennings, the news reporter who saw G in the water, see another man and a boy escorting G into the conference center. She decides to follow them inside. When she and her cameraman, Bill Rawling, tries to get to the escalator, they were stopped and not allowed to enter the contest area without media credentials. She turns to Bill. Sarah.
Did you get the shots?
Bill.
Yes.
G's story, page 74. Sarah pulls on his vest.
Send the pictures to our news desk. I'll write the story and send it in 15 minutes. Then I'll get credentials to get us inside this contest. We're not dealing with an ordinary android here. We need to find out that android's story.
Herbert and the other 7 judges were watching the whole episode from the upstairs meeting room windows. They just witnessed a truly amazing event. Never before has a robot saved a human life like this. Maybe more than one life, acting on its own artificial intelligence. Something groundbreaking is occurring at their event. What astonishes Herbert even more is that he recognizes Charles, who is leading the boy and the android back to the conference center. Herbert looks at his watch and speaks to the judges.
15 minutes to 1 o'clock. Let's finish the remaining sessions. I'll talk to the show director about what we just saw. The media will be looking for that android and its creator. We may have an even bigger story on our hands than what just transpired in the lake. We'll know for sure when it's time to present the awards.
I.e., Scene 20. The story is out. G changes into dry clothes after Timothy returns and walks to the meeting room to complete the question and answer sessions. He never gives the water incident a second thought. He did what he knew to be the right thing to do. Now it is time to finish the contest. When the last session is over and he has completed all visual and audio tests on the computer screen, G leaves the meeting room. Julian, Charles, and Timothy are there to greet him. G's story, page 75.
Are you finished, G?
I have completed all questions and screen tests. I would like to see the rest of Navy Pier now.
I don't know if that is a good idea, G. Timothy and I have been watching the video screens, and what you did earlier is all over the news. You may be mobbed by reporters.
I agree with Charles. We should stay in the conference center and wait for the dinner event when they will announce the awards.
I am willing to talk to the reporters. I will say what happened. I may not get another chance to visit this city before I leave for NASA training.
Can we see the pool?
Charles reconsiders and turns to Julian.
We can try walking inside to the end of the pier with G if you want to go. Or you can stay here until the awards dinner starts in an hour. It's your call.
Julian looks at G, but cannot read anything from his expression, of course. He turns his gaze on Charles and Timothy.
I can't shelter G any longer. He will have to face the media sooner or later. What he did today is not going to be ignored by the press. I will go with you in case I need to help explain things for G.
G's story, page 76. With that said, all three of them head to the down escalator to find the central hallway that will lead them to the grand ballroom located at the end of the pier. As they descend the escalator, they notice a group of media representatives waiting at the bottom. The media starts waving to them and taking pictures. In front of the group stands Sarah Jennings and her cameraman, who took the pictures that are being shown all over the internet and on the media channels, both local and national. The reporters start shouting questions at them as soon as they get off the escalator. Sarah stands in front and sticks out a recording device towards Charles.
Is this the android that saved those people in the water?
Julian steps forward to answer the question.
Yes, this is G. I call him G because he is a self-aware android and possesses the general intelligence factor, what we call G factor in scientific terms.
What do you mean by self-aware? Are you saying he can think like a human?
Yes, that is exactly what I mean. G is fully capable of independent thought.
Another reporter in back of Sarah yells out. Reporter.
Some scientists say that's not possible. Can you prove it?
That is why we are here at the Loebner Prize contest, to show to everyone that it is entirely possible and G can prove it.
Someone yells in the back. G's story, page 77. Media.
You guys are nuts.
Sarah shoots a disapproving look at the back of the reporters and speaks up.
I apologize for that outburst. We just want the whole story. How did your android save those people in the water?
G steps forward and stands beside Julian. He looks at everyone in the crowd before he speaks in a clear, calm tone of voice.
I did what any human would do, if they could, to save another life. The water was very cold. There was no time to wait for help. I can see clearly underwater, and I am not affected by the cold. It would have been wrong of me not to help those people.
The reporters in the crowd cannot believe what they just heard, that a machine could answer a question like that. Some of them look at their recording devices to verify they are on. They are too stunned to say anything for what seems like an eternity. Finally,
Where are you from, G?
I live in Michigan with my creator, Julian Thornway. He developed my core memory processor that allows me to think like a human. I have much to learn. I have studied human civilizations and history. I know how difficult and short life may be. I wish to know everything I can about what it is like to be human. I hope you will take the time to learn about me.
Julian interrupts G before he can say anything more. G's story, page 78.
I have prepared a statement concerning G. I will release it after the awards ceremony this evening. We want to see how G did in the Loebner Prize contest. This is an important step in artificial machine intelligence. You probably already know what this contest is all about. In the meantime, we would appreciate it if you let us show G around Navy Pier. We can meet again after the award ceremony, if that is all right with you.
That seems acceptable to the media representatives. They will use the time to file their stories, investigate the contest, and take more pictures of G while he explores the pier. They let Julian and G pass through them to the doors leading outside. Charles and Timothy follow. There is no reason to stay inside any longer. Charles leads the way to the end of the pier. On the right are the mooring stations for all the large boats, including some of the tall sailing ships visiting Chicago. Out in the lake beyond the stone breakers, boats of all types are crisscrossing the lake. On the left is the beer garden and the grand ballroom with its 80-foot domed roof, which was built in 1916 and still going strong.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yes, it is, Timothy. It is more impressive standing here than looking at pictures.
Most humans would agree with you, G. Most things are more appreciated in person.
I am glad I came to Chicago. I do not know how many cities I will see before I leave Earth. This will be good to remember.
Julian taps his cane. G's story, page 79.
Come, G. We must return to the convention area. They will be announcing the awards before serving dinner.
He slowing leads the way back to Festival Hall. No one is in much of a hurry, which makes following Julian that much easier. Off in the distance, the reporters continue to snap their pictures and record their video for later use. This story is just beginning as far as Sarah Jennings is concerned. ENT, Scene 21, Awards Ceremony. The awards dinner is just starting in the large conference room in Festival Hall. People are filing in to find their places. Each table has name tags for the guests. Julian has purchased tickets for all of them to sit together. There are 75 tables for the 600 or so people who are attending the Loebner Prize contest. There are 3 tables near the stage area for the 8 judges, the show sponsors, special guests, and Loebner officials. The room is filling up fast. The award ceremony is set to begin in 5 minutes. Julian finds their table toward the rear of the dining room. As they gather around the table, 4 other guests join and introduce themselves. The guests are curious about seeing an android at their table. Julian makes introductions for G as they all sit down.
This is G.
George Lancaster, the president of the Loebner organization that hosts this event, steps up onto the stage and walks purposely to the podium. He is a tall, thin man with short, graying hair at his temples. He turns on the microphone and sets his notes in front of him. He glances around and tests to make sure the microphone is on. George.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this year's Loebner Prize contest.
G story, page 80.
Thank you for coming to the awards dinner tonight and for participating in the many conference sessions that were held this week in this wonderful facility. Isn't Navy Pier great? I especially want to thank the many fine sponsors listed in our program guide and the 8 prestigious judges on the panel this year who judged the 8 machine entities and their human confederates.
George pauses while everyone claps their hands in appreciation.
As you well know, the Loebner Prize is given each year to the machine entity that simulates the best conversational computer program. The test is designed to imitate the Turing test as envisioned by Alan M. Turing, the British mathematician who is considered to be one of the early founders of computer science. Turing asked the question, can a machine think? He thought the answer would eventually be yes, but how could we prove it? Turing felt that if we could not distinguish between the responses from a machine or a human, then the machine possessed human intelligence abilities and could think. He invented a game called the imitation game or the Turing test, which has been modified over the years to make it more difficult for AI machines to fool the judges. Today we use text, visual, and audio feedback during the contest to verify human intelligence capabilities. We are quite good at this and not easily fooled, as you know.
Laughter and applause.
Oh.
G story, page 81.
Every year we award the Bronze Medal Prize to the best chatterbox or virtual assistant program that garnered the most points from the judges for conversational language. This year, the prize of $50,000 goes to Easy Y Computer Inc. for their healthcare virtual assistant that can answer almost any medical question. Congratulations to the team sitting at table 12. Let's give them a big hand. Please come up to accept your prize.
One of the young company executives from table 12 walks up to the podium, accepts the check from George, and thanks the prize committee. He waves the check high above his head and walks back to his table as the applause dies down. George stepped back up to the microphone to announce the second prize.
It was close his year, but the silver medal prize of $100,000 goes to Supermax Enterprises for their supercomputer AI system with its ability to search a client's business database using voice commands to provide business solutions that save millions of dollars each year. Let's give the team at table 71 a big round of applause. Please come up to accept your prize.
A senior VP of the company walks up, accepts the check, thanks everyone, and returns to his seat. Most people in the room feel this is the end of the prizes. However, they are mistaken. George steps back up to the microphone and continues.
As you know, we have never awarded the gold medal prize, this year $1 million, to any machine entity since the start of this competition in 1991. This year we have a big surprise. There is a winner out there among you.
Gasps are heard from many of the guests. G story, page 82.
This is as big of a surprise to us as it is to you. As I said earlier, the judges don't fool easily. I won't keep you in suspense for long. Let me introduce the lead judge of our competition, Herbert Brodsky, professor of computer science at Northwestern University, right here in Chicago, who will announce this year's amazing prize winner. Herbert, please come up.
Herbert gets up from his table, walks to the stage, and takes over the podium as George steps back. He repositions the microphone and pauses to collect his thoughts.
Thank you, George. This year there were 8 machine entities and 8 human confederates competing in the Turing test. All of us judges knew we would be questioning 1 machine and 1 human paired together for each session. Each entity is asked pointed questions for 25 minutes. Each judge then decides which entity is a machine and which entity is a human confederate. Most of us have judged several of these contests over the years. Believe me, we were not expecting to be fooled 8 times. After the test results were in, we knew we had been fooled by a superior computer-machine program. As of this minute, we judges do not know who this program belongs to. The entity number has been verified by visual monitoring in the testing room to belong to a machine that also passed both the visual and audio portions of the test. The test results for this entity matches the best results of the human confederates. We are astonished at the results. I am now going to open the envelope that identifies the entity number.
G's story, page 83. Herbert rips open the envelope and pulls out the winner.
The first gold medal winner of this year's Loebner Prize contest is Mr. Julian Thornway for machine entity number 5. Mr. Thornway, would you please stand up and be recognized?
The lights in the dining room are brightened. Everyone looks around at the tables. No one moves for what seems like an eternity. Then Julian slowly stands up, using his cane for support. He is not surprised at the announcement, but it takes a moment to realize he has just achieved one of his most important goals in life. The audience erupts in applause. Everyone in the room stands up. The noise is deafening. Julian takes a small bow and turns to G. He asks G to stand up. The sight of an android standing up immediately quiets the crowd down. Most are not expecting a robot to be the machine entity used in winning the prize. They are only expecting an AI program running on some computer. A few people in the crowd seem to recognize G as the android who saved those people in the lake. Herbert, sensing some disquiet in the room, quickly speaks up.
Mr. Thornway, would you come up to accept your prize and address the audience? I am sure we would all like to hear how you accomplish this.
Julian nods his head and asks G to walk with him to the podium. Julian grabs G's arm to help him navigate the many tables and walk up the steps to the podium without falling. When they reach the podium, Herbert shakes Julian's hand and gives him the check for $1 million. He steps back behind G, not sure if he should shake G's hand or not.
Thank you, Mr. Lancaster, Loebner Prize members, and guests. I know many of you probably believe that man is not capable of creating a computer program that can think like a human. This must be some sort of trick. I assure you this is not a trick. The android beside me is named G.
G's story, page 84.
He possesses the general intelligence factor that some people with high IQs are born with. He can think for himself. He knows who he is. He can learn, reason, solve problems, act on his own, determine right from wrong, feel emotions, and even dream. It is entirely possible that he will choose another name for himself. That is his right. Even if you do not agree with me that G is capable of thinking like a human, allow G to speak for himself. Ask him any question you wish.
Julian steps aside and asks G to step up to the mic. One of the judges sitting below in the front row of tables stands up to ask the first question. First judge.
How did you fool us so thoroughly, G?
I answered your questions like a human.
There is a murmur of whispering voices heard around the room. Some are surprised at how natural sounding and easy it is for G to speak. Another person stands up. First guest.
Do you think you are human?
I am a machine. I was created to accomplish different tasks. I am not human, but my brain can store memories, process thoughts, and reason like a human brain. In many ways, my brain and a human brain process information in a similar manner. Human brains do it through biology and evolution. My computer brain does it using nanotube circuitry designed by my creator. I have far more memory storage capacity than a normal human brain. I have total recall.
G's story, page 85.
I can think faster and process more information in the same time frame. I can solve difficult problems faster than the average human.
A person is, the middle of the room stands up. Second guest.
Do you have feelings or emotions like humans?
Not at first. I did not know what feelings were until recently. I do not feel pain or hunger or have biological needs to satisfy. I experienced feelings of sadness as I studied human history and the effects of wars and diseases. I developed a need to communicate with others, to share thoughts and ideas. My creator's great-grandson, Timothy, says I am his friend. It will take more time for me to fully understand what humans feel.
In the far back of the room, a woman stands up and announces. Third guest.
Aren't you the robot that saved those people in the water this afternoon? I saw you on the news.
Yes, that was me. I was glad I could help them.
Herbert steps up to the podium and speaks into the microphone.
I'm afraid that is all the questions we can take for now. We will hold a press conference after dinner on the rooftop terrace where you can meet with the winners of the contest. Let's congratulate the winners of this year's competition and enjoy the dinner.
Everyone claps their hands and begin talking with their table guests about the contest and the winners. Servers immediately begin bringing food and drinks to the tables. G's story, page 86. Julian, with G's help, make it back to their table, where they are greeted warmly by the people around them. Charles shakes Julian's and G's hands.
Congratulations on winning the gold prize, Julian. You too, G. You both deserve it.
After dinner, all are escorted to the rooftop terrace, where the press conference is being held. Julian and G answer more questions and have their pictures taken for the late news broadcasts. A reporter mentions that the mayor of Chicago wants to meet G and thank him for saving those lives from drowning in Lake Michigan. It looks like Julian and G might have to change their plans on when to return home. The press conference ends just as it is getting dark. Instead of hurrying home, Timothy convinces Julian and his father to let him and G see the fireworks that are part of the festivities every Saturday night at Navy Pier. It is a beautiful night with clear dark skies. The fireworks are spectacular. G experiences every sight, sound, and color, and the shouts from the crowd as the fireworks explode over the lake and light up the skyline. G knows he will remember this event forever. He feels a connection to the people around him, enjoying the simple pleasure of viewing fireworks. It is another feeling he will never forget. G's story, page 87. Act 3. Julian's final act and G's destiny. I.e. Scene 22. Algonquin, Illinois. Next day at home in Algonquin, Illinois, Susan walks downstairs from bedroom and sees Kate talking to G.
What are you two discussing, Kate?
Kate.
Oh, Mom, you should hear what G thinks about my Lake Michigan environmental project. He thinks I should take water samples and have them tested for oxygen levels. I never thought of that.
G looks up at Susan. His expression is thoughtful, almost human-looking.
I told Kate I believe it would help prove that some of the fish species in the lake were not getting enough oxygen to grow to their proper weight levels.
Susan has to admit it is an excellent idea. She should have thought of something like that herself.
I'm going to make breakfast for everyone before they get up. Is there something I can do for you, G?
Not at all, Susan. I would like to go outside and sit by the river. Timothy has told me a lot about it. I would like to watch the people as they go by.
Susan does not know what to make of that request, but it seems like a good thing to do. She speaks to Kate. G's story, page 88.
Why don't you take G down by the dock? Take Missy with you. She needs to be let outside. I'll call you when breakfast is ready.
Susan opens the door for them to go outside and picks up the Sunday newspaper that is laying on the stoop. She is surprised to see G's picture on the front page. The headline reads, Android saves 3 people from drowning in Lake Michigan. Another smaller headline reads, Creator of robot wins $1 million. There is a picture of Julian, G, Charles, and Timothy at a press conference at Navy Pier. Susan reads the whole front page on the stoop before she goes back inside to start breakfast. Susan knows it is going to be an interesting day once her neighbors and friends see this. Julian is the next person to come downstairs. He is cheerful and sits at the kitchen table while Susan prepares breakfast.
It smells wonderful, Susan. I can't believe I'm hungry again so soon after our awards dinner last night.
Susan lays the paper on the table for Julian to read.
You must be proud of your accomplishment, Julian. G seems very smart, and Kate likes him. Even Missy is following him around. How did you do this?
I have been working on this for a very long time. We didn't have the nanotechnology I needed until recently. It's really about having the right memory storage and parallel processing capabilities to allow independent thought. I wasn't sure it would happen until G became self-aware and told me he could think for himself. I was relieved. The feeling is sort of like how Chuck Yeager may have felt before he broke the sound barrier in 1947.
G's story, page 89.
Experts told him the buffeting would get so bad the airplane would break apart first. I decided to push the envelope and just do it no matter what. Once I did it, I knew I could not keep it a secret much longer.
What will you do with G now that everybody knows about him?
G is part of a government project I am working on with my old employer, NASA. G will be trained as an astronaut and be sent on a deep space mission to discover other planets like Earth outside our solar system. Once he leaves, he will not be coming back.
Susan looks out the kitchen window at G and Kate sitting down on the dock.
Does G know this? He may not like the idea of not ever coming back to Earth.
Susan flips the pancake she is cooking on the stove.
G is looking forward to it. He knows that people here on Earth will need more time before they can accept a machine that thinks like a human. It will be difficult for many people to accept this, I fear. It may take decades.
Charles enters the kitchen. He kisses Susan on the cheek.
Do you need any help?
You can finish setting the table. Breakfast will be ready in 5 minutes. Why don't you call Timothy down to eat? Kate is down by the dock with G and Missy.
G's story, page 90. Soon everyone is assembled at the kitchen table for breakfast. Susan sets a plate full of pancakes on the table. Then she adds syrup, butter, and sausage, while Charles pours drinks and gets coffee for the adults. They discuss what happened in Chicago.
What are you going to do, Julian?
I received several messages. The mayor of Chicago wants to meet us on Monday morning. Then we have been invited to the top TV news stations in Chicago and one talk show. It looks like G and I need to stay in the city for 1 or 2 days before we travel home. Just let me know what you want me to do, Julian, and I will drive you home whenever you are ready. That won't be necessary, Charles. G and I will take the train to the city in the morning. We can catch the Amtrak to New Buffalo on Tuesday. We'll be fine.
Let me know if you change your mind, Julian. I can drive you to the train station in the morning. For dinner tonight, we can take the boat out and go to dinner in Algonquin. It looks like a nice day to be on the river.
I would like to take G with me to Johnny's house. They want to meet G. Is that all right?
That's fine with me. Why don't you ask G if he would like to go with you?
Would you like to meet my friends, G?
G's story, page 91.
Yes, I would like to meet your friends, Timothy. We could play video games if you wish.
Great, I'll let them know we're coming over.
Timothy quickly gets up from the table and pulls out his phone to send a message. G follows him out of the kitchen.
Come home for lunch, Timothy. You have chores to do around the house before we go to dinner.
Timothy and G leave the house to walk across the front yards to Johnny's house. By the time they reach his friend's house, both Johnny and Amy are standing on the front steps waiting for them. Johnny.
Hello, Timothy. Welcome back.
Hi guys, this is G. I couldn't tell you about G before yesterday.
Hello, G. It's nice to meet you.
Amy.
We saw you on the news yesterday. You're in the paper today.
It is nice to meet you, Johnny. Timothy told me you are his best friend. It is nice to meet you, Amy. Timothy likes you the most. He says you are very pretty. He is correct.
Timothy is not expecting G to say that. His face turns red from embarrassment. He looks at his feet. Amy is about to say something, but ends up just smiling at Timothy instead. Johnny just laughs at both of them.
It was pretty obvious to me too, G. I was waiting for him to tell me. Come inside.
G's story, page 92.
I have a new game, and Timothy says you're a great player.
Timothy and G play video games at Johnny's house until noon. Then they have to return home, so Timothy can do his chores before everyone leaves on the boat to go to dinner. G turns to Amy to ask a question.
Could I have one of your hairs?
Why do you need one of my hairs?
G is taking samples of human DNA when he goes into space. He says he wishes to have proof of human existence when he meets aliens.
Do you really think there are other beings out there, G?
I am sure of it, Amy. It is not rational to think humans are the only intelligent life forms in our universe. We just haven't found a way to communicate with them. When I make contact, I will show them what humans are made of, since I am just a machine.
Amy hands G one of her hairs.
I hope they are as nice as you, G. It was nice meeting you.
Amy shakes G's hand as he and Timothy leave to go home. They talk on the walk.
I hope you like my friends, G. They liked you.
G's story, page 93.
I do like them. Because of you, I have made 2 new friends. Thank you, Timothy.
I.e. Scene 23 Dag. Julian. One day towards the end of summer, Timothy is returning from walking Missy along the river when he sees his parents waiting for him by the dock. He knows by the look on their faces that something is wrong.
Did something happen to G?
No, G is fine. It's Julian. He had a heart attack and is in the hospital. Maria called and told us. We're all going to drive to his home tomorrow.
Is he going to be all right?
We don't know, honey. We'll find out when we get there.
The next day, they all pile into the SUV for the drive to Michigan. They arrive at Julian's house in the afternoon. Maria is there to greet them as they get out of the car.
I'm so glad you're here.
How's Julian doing, Maria?
The doctor called. He's doing better. The doctor said Julian needs a heart transplant, but Julian says no. You need to talk to him.
G's story, page 94.
We will. Don't worry, Maria. Susan and I will go see him today. Would you mind looking after Timothy and Kate while we're gone?
Of course not. Please come in and unpack. I'll get some refreshments before you go.
They all go inside.
Where is G?
He's in the lab.
Timothy drops his suitcase at the door and races to the lab. He finds G sitting at his work desk. G turns around when he hears Timothy enter the room.
Hi, G.
Hello, Timothy. It is nice to see you again.
We came as fast as we could. Do you think Great-Grandpa will be okay?
Julian is very sick. He will not live long if he does not replace his heart.
Why wouldn't he? They do it all the time now.
Julian has told me many times he does not wish to prolong his life in this manner. I accept his reasoning.
Will you miss him if he dies?
G's story, page 95.
Yes, Timothy. I will miss your great-grandfather. He is my creator and my friend. He has been good to me. I will carry his memory with me forever. We must respect his wishes. He has made his decision. His reasons will be clear in time.
Timothy leaves to take his suitcase to his bedroom and get something to eat. Charles and Susan goes to the hospital in New Buffalo to see Julian. They talk to a nurse. Nurse.
Julian is sleeping, and his condition had been stabilized.
Charles and Susan. Charles goes to find some coffee while Susan sits in a chair by Julian's bedside. They stay until the doctor comes. Doctor?
Julian is feeling better and will be released from the hospital tomorrow. You should talk to Julian's primary heart specialist in Chicago and get nursing help to monitor Julian's condition when he gets home. Julian's heart is weak and he could die suddenly from another heart attack without warning.
We're very concerned. We will speak to Julian about his condition.
Julian is propped up in bed. He looks a little better, but his skin color is still very pale. Susan kisses Julian on the cheek and grabs his hand.
Julian, you are looking much better now.
Thank you for coming.
Weak voice. G's story, page 96.
Julian, the doctor says you need a new heart. Why won't you sign up for a heart transplant?
Deep breath.
I made up my mind that is not what I want to do. I've had a good life. I don't need to live any longer than nature allows. I am ready to see what lies on the other side. Don't worry about me. I have made plans for my passing. All my affairs are in order. I just ask your help to get me home as soon as possible. I need to talk to G. We have one more project to finish.
Julian looks tired, so Charles and Susan say they will return tomorrow to take him home. Charles brings Julian home the next day. They have a wheelchair waiting when Charles drives into the driveway. G helps Julian get out of the car and pushes him inside the house. Julian wants to sit out on the deck overlooking the lake, while Maria brings iced tea to drink.
We're so glad you are home, Julian,
Maria says as she pours him a drink.
It's good to be home. Thank you all for coming to help me.
Mother called yesterday. Anne is flying here tomorrow to see you.
Good. We can pretend we're having a family reunion.
Everyone enjoys the time on the deck, eating light snacks and sharing stories of family events. G story page 97.
I'm tired. It's time for me to take a nap.
G wheels him to his room and then goes into the lab. Timothy and Kate go to the living room to watch TV. Susan and Charles stay outside and talk.
We need to make arrangements for his care before we leave.
I'll talk to Mother tomorrow. I'm sure we can find someone to come to the house to monitor his progress until he feels better.
You heard the doctor. He needs a new heart. Maybe Anne can convince him to change his mind about a transplant.
I hope you are right, Susan. But you know Julian. He always does what he wants to do. He doesn't want a new heart. I just don't understand his reason yet.
I hope he changes his mind soon, Charles. He doesn't have much time left.
INT Scene 24. It is a time to remember. G is working in the lab when Timothy comes in to see him before dinner. G is testing the silver headband and the spare computer processing module on his work desk.
What's that, G?
It is a new device your great-grandfather invented. Do you want to see how it works?
G story page 98.
Sure, what does it do?
G picks up the headband and puts it on Timothy's head. Then he turns on the computer screen.
Choose any channel with your mind and play a game.
Timothy wrinkles his forehead.
Really? Can it read my mind?
Yes, give it a try.
Timothy thinks of a game website, and the screen automatically finds the link. The web page appears on the screen.
Wow, it works.
Timothy scrolls through the options and picks a video game he knew. It is so easy it looks like magic.
This is amazing, G.
I thought you would like it. It will make playing video games very easy.
Just then, Susan calls.
Time for dinner.
G takes the headband off Timothy's head.
Do not tell anyone about this yet. We are still testing it.
I promise I won't tell anyone, G. Can I play with it later?
G story page 99.
Maybe tomorrow. Julian wants me to build a bonfire tonight for your family.
G puts the device on the table while Timothy goes to wash his hands for dinner. Maria cooks a fine dinner for the family. They sit down for dinner.
I am very grateful for your support and assistance this year. I love you all. I am blessed to have such loving family members. I wish Jean was here with us. She would have enjoyed this evening very much. I asked G to build us a bonfire tonight. It looks like it will be a warm night.
We can cook s'mores tonight. I bought chocolate and marshmallows to cook on the fire.
Everyone agrees it is a good night to celebrate that Julian is home. They go outside to the fire pit. Around 10 o'clock, Julian says he is tired and needs to go to bed.
Timothy, come with me. I have something to show you. Please, everyone, stay and enjoy the fire. I will send Timothy back soon.
G pushes Julian in his wheelchair up to the house. When Julian reaches his bedroom, he asks Timothy to get him a glass of water.
Timothy, would you please get me a glass of water?
After Timothy leaves, he asks G to get the things they need.
G, bring the items we need.
G goes to the lab while Julian gets ready for bed. When Timothy brings the water for Julian, he is getting into bed.
Thank you, Timothy.
He pulls the covers up and takes a drink of water and sets the glass on his nightstand.
You've been a real help to me this summer. I wanted to thank you again. There is something else I want you to do for me. I want you to promise me you will remain G's friend and help him any way you can while he prepares for his mission in space. Will you promise me?
Timothy looks at Julian with concern in his eyes.
Sure, Great-Grandpa, I promise. Why are you asking me?
I am very sick, Timothy. I won't be around much longer.
Timothy starts to tear up.
Don't be sad for me. I will always be with you. When G returns, we are going to conduct an experiment. It has never been done before. It will be something like what I did with G, but this time I want you to be a witness. I did not want anyone else to know about this before I did it.
Timothy struggles to keep the tears out of his eyes.
What are you going to do, Great-Grandpa?
G walks into the bedroom. He is holding the silver headband and spare computer processing module like the one in his chest. Timothy recognizes the headband.
G is going to scan my brain. I will probably fall asleep. When I wake up, I want you to ask me a question. What time is it, Great-Grandpa? I will say, it is a time to remember. Do you think you can do this?
Sure, Great-Grandpa. That's easy to remember.
Good. Let's get started. Give me the headband, G.
G hands the device to Julian, who puts it on his head and turns it on. Julian lays back on his pillow, closes his eyes, and relaxes. G sets the module on the nightstand. He turns the module on. The bottom of the headband begins to glow a faint bluish color. Julian seems to fall asleep as the color grows brighter. G and Timothy stand quietly and watch the headband pulsate with color. There is no noise, just the light emanating from the headband. The light from the headband is pulsating in sync with the light on the computer module. They watch silently for almost 20 minutes. Then the headband turns off by itself. Julian does not awaken. G takes the headband off Julian's head and picks up the module.
We must let him sleep now. I will check on him later.
What did you do to Great-Grandpa G?
Come to the lab and I will show you.
G leads Timothy to the lab and walks to the back door that Timothy had seen but had never been allowed to enter. G unlocks the door using the keypad and they walk inside. As soon as the light turned on, Timothy sees the second android on the table.
You have another robot.
He races up to the table and examines the android closely.
It has a different face. It looks more human.
Julian had a different face prepared for this robot. He wanted a family resemblance.
Timothy is confused.
Why would Great-Grandpa want another robot with a face different than yours?
Incredulous look.
You made a copy of his brain, didn't you, G?
Yes, this is what Julian wanted. Now we must see if it worked.
G opens the chest cavity on the android. He inserts the computer processing module and connects the power packs. The module turns on automatically. G closes the chest cavity and waits. Jacob. As they both watch, the android begins to stir. It moves its hands and feet. Then it lifts its arms. The face moves, and the eyes open. Timothy can see the android hesitate, like it does not know what to do next. After a moment of complete silence, the android makes its decision. It sits up. Timothy jumps backwards, more as a reflex action than from fright. The android turns sideways with its feet dangling off the table. Its head turns towards G and studies him for a moment. Then it turns and faces Timothy. For some reason, Timothy is not scared. The android's eyes seems to recognize him.
Hello, Timothy.
Familiar voice.
Don't you have a question for me?
Timothy is confused for a moment. Then he remembers what Julian asked him to do, but this was not the right person. Then again, maybe it is, so he asks.
What time is it, Great-Grandpa?
It is a time to remember, and I do remember, Timothy, everything. Let me ask you something. What did you promise your great-grandfather?
I promised him I would remain G's friend and help him any way I could.
That is correct. I remember that too. Now let me see if I can walk.
The android slowly puts his feet on the floor and stands up off the table. He balances on both feet for a moment. He takes a step forward, then another. He stops and says,
I can control my movements without learning them. I seem to remember pre-programming my control module for this.
The android turns toward G.
The brain scan worked, G. I remember everything up to the moment I fell asleep, or rather, Julian fell asleep. I feel perfectly normal. The only difference is I feel absolutely no pain. This is wonderful, better than I expected. I need to talk to Julian. I need to see if there is any effect on his brain.
Julian may still be asleep. What should we call you?
Julian already considered this before the transfer of his memories. The android replies,
I will use my middle name, Jacob.
ENT, Scene 25, Julian and Jacob. G, Timothy and Jacob go to Julian's bedroom. Julian is still asleep.
I will wait in the bedroom for Julian to wake up.
G and Timothy decide they will return to the bonfire and visit with the family before they get worried.
Do not mention what occurred until morning, when Julian will explain to the rest of the family what he did.
I agree, but this is going to be hard to keep secret. It's just too amazing.
The bonfire is almost out when they reach the patio. They have been gone for almost an hour.
I'm glad you two are back. We want to look through the telescope at the stars and hear where you're going, G.
G proceeds to show Susan, Charles, and Kate the stars, and tell them the same things he told Timothy when he visited for the summer. Soon Charles, Susan, and Kate walk back to the house.
What do you think will happen in the morning? Julian will explain to your family what he has done and why, Timothy. I believe your parents will be surprised. I hope they do not get angry. We have been working on this development for a very long time.
G. It has great practical applications and will be very profitable to your family. Even I look forward to the future when I can share my memories with humans. This progress will allow your great-grandfather to continue his work, which will be very helpful to me on my journey.
I don't know, G. When people find out about this, it could be just as upsetting as when they found out about you.
Perhaps, but it would have happened soon, whether your great-grandfather did it or someone else. Scientists have been scanning and mapping the human brain for years. We just took the process to its next logical step.
We can't keep this a secret for long, G. The news people will find out about it.
Do not worry, Timothy. Julian will handle the news media. They no longer bother us like they did at first. It will be the same with Jacob. It's time for you to go to bed. I will stay with your great-grandfather until he wakes up.
Timothy goes to his room and prepares for bed. G finishes cleaning up the patio and returns to the house. He locks all the doors and enters Julian's bedroom. Jacob is sitting in a chair beside the bed. He nods to G as he sits down in another chair. They both go into standby mode to conserve battery power. Julian awakes early in the morning. The clock says 6:05 a.m. He feels rested, but it takes a moment for his eyes to adjust to the darkness. The sun will not rise for another hour. He catches a glimpse of two figures in the room sitting beside his bed. He knows who they are and just waits for a response.
You are awake, Julian. How do you feel?
G is alert but remains silent. Julian clears the cobwebs from his mind. The voice is familiar.
I feel fine. You sound like me many years ago. Can I call you Jacob? Yes, you may call me Jacob. We share the same memories after all.
Everything sounds normal, but Julian wants to be sure.
Tell me what you remember about my life. You were born in Detroit, Michigan, 100 years ago in September. You grew up on a farm. Your mother was a teacher. You were the younger of two other siblings, both deceased. You had an argument with your parents about becoming a scientist instead of a doctor when you were in high school. You went to Michigan State University, then on to MIT for graduate work before working and retiring from NASA. You were married and had one child, Andrew, who married Anne. Andrew was killed in a car accident 5 years ago. Your wife, Jean, passed away 2 years ago, and you miss her terribly. You recently had a heart attack and decided not to get a heart transplant. Your grandson and his family are here visiting. I have all your memories. I know everything you know. I am you until I woke up in the lab. Do you want me to continue?
Julian knows the mind scan worked. He can tell by the tone of the android's voice. It is like hearing himself speak. As a scientist, he knows he will have to run more tests, but he knows the brain scan works as it is designed.
No, you can stop. We will discuss more about this later. Before I fell asleep, I felt like I was dreaming and reliving my life during the scanning process. I suspected that would happen. I don't believe I lost anything. Do you think you recorded all my memories? I can remember everything from the time I was 2 years old. I remember every detail of our life. Every memory is available to me, even what you may have forgotten. I have total recall of our life. What can you tell me about your brain functions, Jacob? My brain can think much faster than yours. I also have much more capacity to store information than a human brain. I have the same thinking capabilities as G. Our intelligence level may be the same, except I understand what human feelings are from your experiences. I am not sure how this will affect me over time. I'm glad you have my memories and the same thinking abilities as G, Jacob. You can continue my work after I'm gone. You will be able to help G explore the universe. You know how I feel about these things. It may be difficult for you. Some people will not understand what you are or what you can do. G can help you with this. My family will help as well, I'm sure. Let me rest some more before I get up. I need to discuss what we have done with the rest of my family. Then I will introduce you to our family.
Julian rests for another hour before he gets out of bed. He is still weak from his hospital stay, but he does feel much better today. He completes his morning routine and dresses comfortably for the day. Susan is already in the kitchen preparing breakfast for the family by the time he sits down.
Good morning, Julian. How do you feel?
Julian rests his cane beside his chair.
I feel better today. Thank you for making breakfast.
Do you want some coffee? I can make you some eggs if you want.
I would love some coffee. I will wait for the others to join us for breakfast. I have something to tell all of you, and it would be easier if everyone was here so I don't have to explain myself twice.
Susan looks at Julian with concern.
Is everything okay, Julian?
Nothing to worry about, Susan. Timothy already knows what it is from last night. Just a new project G and I were working on before I got sick.
Susan does not respond. She just looks at Julian with a curious expression. Whatever it is going to be something she isn't expecting. It always is with Julian. She decides to wait for the news and just pours herself a cup of coffee. I.e. Scene 26, Lift Off. The year passes swiftly. After school, Timothy goes over to Johnny and Amy's house to tell them about G. Amy meets Timothy at the door.
Come in, Timothy. Johnny says you have news about G.
Timothy follows her into the house and announces,
G is taking off on his space journey in 2 weeks. We've been invited to Florida by NASA to watch the liftoff.
Wow, that'll be exciting. You've been waiting a long time for this.
Johnny shows up behind his sister and hears the news.
Are you flying or driving to Florida?
We're flying. Jacob will join us at the airport in Chicago. I can't wait to see G.
It still feels weird about Jacob and your great-grandpa.
I know. When great-grandpa died, I knew I would miss him a lot. But Jacob is so much like him, it's hard to believe they're not the same person.
We're studying the legal and moral issues of thinking robots in our humanities class this semester.
Brushes hair from her face.
Our teacher says this will affect about every aspect of our lives in the future. It's very interesting.
I never thought any of this could happen, and your family is in the middle of it all. Come on, let's go downstairs. I got a cool game to show you. We can use the new headbands G invented. It's so much easier to play now.
2 weeks later, Charles, Susan, Timothy, Kate, and Jacob are in Florida staying at a nice motel not far from the Kennedy Space Center. They are invited to the visitor complex to get a guided tour inside the vehicle assembly building where G's rocket was assembled for launch. Last but not least, they are able to have lunch with G and get their pictures taken. G is dressed in his NASA astronaut uniform and looks great. Timothy is so happy to see and talk to G in person again after so many months. The last time Timothy saw G was at Julian's funeral back in Michigan.
Are you excited to begin your journey, G?
G walks around the building for the last time. G stops and faces Timothy.
I am ready to leave. There is so much to do and see. I will miss you and your family. I have learned so many things from all of you.
We'll miss you too, G. Jacob says we'll be able to talk to you anytime we want. Is that true?
Yes, Jacob has developed a new communication method that will allow me to communicate with anyone I wish. We will always be in touch.
Timothy holds out his hand for G to shake.
I know we will meet again in the future, G. I will be a lot older, but I just know it.
He has tears in his eyes. Instead of shaking Timothy's hand, G smiles and hugs him for the first time. Timothy is surprised, but for G, it is a good feeling. The next day at noon, Charles, Susan, Timothy, Kate, and Jacob are sitting with NASA officials in the stands as the sleek new space rocket is ready to blast off from the Kennedy Space Center launch complex, not too far away. The 10-second countdown begins, and the crowd around Timothy joins in. A great roar from the rocket engines fill the air. The ground shakes, and the seats start vibrating. Everyone is on their feet as the rocket blasts off from the launch pad. The billowing smoke from the rocket engines dissipate as the spaceship quickly climbs high into the clear blue sky. Jacob turns to Timothy and says,
G is finally on his journey. Julian would be proud of him.
I know, Jacob. I miss Great-Grandpa, but I'm glad you're here. I wish I could talk to G again. I miss him already.
Jacob looks at Timothy and smiles.
That will never be a problem, Timothy.
Points to the phone in Timothy's hand. Timothy looks down. G's smiling face appears on the screen.
I am off.
G's story is from the novella, G's Future. G's story is composed of G's Future, Part 1, and G's Journey, Part 2, to be scripted later if needed. G's Future, Part 1, first released in May 2012. Registration number 2XU1861582. G's Journey, Part 2, released in April 2014. Combined both short stories into one book, G's Story, in September 2020. Available at Amazon.com. Author Don Vicielli. Vicielli@comcast.net. 847-477-4425 mobile. Final Screenplay version 4. Audio dated December 30th, 2025.